Hello, hello, hello. You might hear a fan in the background. I apologize. That's because, fuck me, it's hot. I moved all of my tomatoes back inside again. This is like I think the third time I've, like, moved them in and out of the house. Not including, like, right when spring, summer was, when it was still, like, getting negative, in the negatives, or, like, below 5 degrees. Like, if it was below 10, I was bringing them inside, but they're doing good. They're doing good now. Pardon me, I have not updated this yet, so if you're looking for your name, it's not there yet. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit behind from the move and all the stuff going on. I've been catching up. Yeah, it's hot. It is spicy. What's the temperature right now? Hold on, let me look. 31 degrees. I wonder what it feels like. 31 is fucking spicy, man. Let me find out. I am a professional! Weather. 33 degrees, yellow heat warning, feels like 37. Jesus! Oscall just resubbed on Twitch for 40-month tier 1. Third year. What is this? 3 1/3 years that I was on Twitch? Jesus. God, what are we doing? Why are we here? It feels like nearly 40 degrees right now outside. I have done a lot the last couple of days. Yesterday, I cleaned and prepped and, like, tidied up 2 bikes to make sure they were functional. Like pedal bikes. I went to my mom's house after I did a bunch of yard work in the backyard and got some ferns. And got her 4 ferns from my backyard. I had pulled them out. I pulled up all of that fabric that people put down and then they put mulch on to stop weeds. You have to do it right, and people don't do it right. So I got that done. I think I saved the rose bush. There is one rose bush in my backyard that is, like, holding on for dear life, it was getting choked out by, like, a bunch of other plants, and one plant was, like, have you seen those? They're, like, they're weeds, but they sort of grow into trees, and they've got, like, little berries on them. There was one of those, or 2 of those, that were all just, like, bunched up, and they were choking out the rose bush. The rose bush has 1 rose on it, on the very end of 1 long green bit and 1 other little long green bit, and the rest of the rose is just fucking dead. So I trimmed all that back, and I cut down the tree with a tomahawk, because that's what I had. And I had to, the tree was, like, wrapping itself into the fence, so I had to chop it down at its base and then lift it up out of the fence. So I succeeded in all that, but now my backyard is an absolute nightmare because all the stuff that I got and cut down and pulled up is all just in the yard now. I'm gonna let it dry out over the next couple of days and I'll probably take it to, like, go get it burnt. Hey, you guys remember the scrolling bar that Wolf had when he tried to pretend that he never called anybody a pedophile, and literally as he was saying that, the thing on the bottom of his said, like, pedo somebody, and then immediately pedo somebody else. I don't remember who it was he was calling. I think it was, like, Alice or something. And it was just, like, as he was saying that, it was just showing him saying that on the screen. Fucking crazy. The company playlist in the community note. Oh no, you did it. That's very funny. Was this her pretending she didn't know what her and Sean being in contempt was on Twitter earlier today or yesterday? Is that what you're talking about? I'm feeling a little bit just, like, chatty today. We're supposed to talk about politics, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but I'm feeling, like, a little bit, like, just catching up chatty today. Oh god. Alright, let me look. Let me see what this says. Let me see. Let me look. Let's find out. What is this nonsense? Oh god. Oh god. Alright. Sean thinks verbally abusing women will turn a lie into truth. Sean, you created the I Can't Breathe title card and framed it as a George Floyd reference, not me. My comment was a crude self-deprecating joke about my weight, conditional on you attacking me. I never blah blah. Then there's a screenshot that has Wolf trying to say that Manya had the nerve to call him racist. I mean, we know she is a complete dumb tart. Dumb tart is like... He's used up. Oh my god, my orange just exploded. My Mandarin exploded and I was not prepared for this. What's up with me, man? I don't know. My brain's falling apart. That's okay. Well, look. Twitter's broken anyway. I just don't know what the fuck's going on. Sticky juices where they're unwanted. Yeah, imagine that. Who could have foreseen this? Hey, Zero Line, what's going on? Dumb Dart is one step down from Booger Brain. Booger Brain's a good one. I like that. We should use that. What tier is Poopy Head? Is Poopy Head above or below Booger Brain? 10 scientific questions that can never be answered. I'm pretty sure I turned myself into a crispy goblin yesterday with all the shit that I did. I was like, I slept for like 2 hours and then I went out and did all this yard work and did all this fucking shit. Now I'm just like, bleh. And I did a stream. Man, I did everything yesterday. Yeah, I'm gonna need you guys to vote. Vote in the chat what's the elementary school tier insults when. Yeah, no, we need to figure that out. Oh, Fartknocker's a good one. Dickweed? Is dickweed count, or is that one too troglodyte? I like clod, like a clod of dirt. You fucking clod. Clod's a good one. Excuse me, I gotta go get something to get all this juice off me body. I don't know what it is about me, but I do not find mandarins and oranges as sticky as apples, and I haven't done like a side-by-side comparison. Clod is a good one. You just mowed the backyard? You're on lunch break? Oh, fuck knuckle. We need like a, yeah, we need a tier list. We need to rank these. About like how insulted should you be? I don't know. I just find apples very, very sticky. As opposed to oranges that don't bother me as much. Why is my Canadian channel giving me American advertisements? Yeah, hey, what the hell's that about? Do a tier list stream on Monday? I feel like Dumb Tard's not even gonna make the list. Like, it's... F tier. Like, you say this unironically, and I think you're an idiot. Like, it's the kind of thing where if you say that, like, if you actually say that, I feel like you're just making yourself look stupid. Dumb tard. Like, what are you talking about? As this turns an entire conversation about linguistic semantics. The linguistic semantics and ranking system of grade school insults. I don't think I've ever heard like a grade school kid say nincompoop. Hey Larry! Fancy meeting you here. I've moved. My move is mostly done. Hooray. I chopped that tree down with that tomahawk, and when I was lifting it up to get it up and over and around the fence, I was like, I am a greenery god! I was goofing. I was mad goofing. Alright, everybody put your best grade school insult in the chat. Should I collect them and then we'll do a tier stream? We'll do a cheer stream for which one's the best. I just want to see this community. I don't care about all this. Like, look at this fucking bunch of nonsense. Like, look at all this fucking... Alright, what does this say? I think we're starting from, like, what here? Aaron, stop committing contempt. Oh, here. What is the lie? So Aaron's just, like, saying somebody is lying and then refusing to tell the person what exactly the person is supposed to be lying about. I keep bringing receipts on you. Aaron with receipts? Sure. Sure, Jan. What is the lie in that you and Sean are committing contempt? The lie is in I have no idea what you're talking about. Aaron, just because you're stupid and don't know what somebody's saying doesn't mean that they're lying. Do we really need to discuss what a lie is? I mean, Aaron also doesn't know what an opinion is. Aaron thinks an opinion and a desire are interchangeable. So, for example, if I say, I wish the sky outside was purple, that's not an opinion, that's a desire. You want that. That is something that you want to happen, not something that is. Receipts? Aaron's receipts are like a doctor's note written in crayon. E.K. Costello. Why did I think you still use the snow globe mic? I don't know. I haven't used the snow globe mic since, like, Christmas last year. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. Dummy face. Dum-dum. Is this gonna load for me? Load for me? What is this? Oh no. Okay, let's look at this, because Feline's going to town here. Okay. The lie is that I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not how that works. You are making shit up as usual. If you don't know what they're talking about, that doesn't mean they're making things up. These are contradictory statements. Either you know what they're talking about and it's made up, or you don't know what they're talking about and therefore cannot delineate whether or not the stuff is being made up or not. That's not actually true, by the way. That's a false dichotomy. That's not actually true. What I just said. You can do both. You never provide proof of anything. Well, that's not true. You have nothing on me or anyone else for that matter. We saw your contempt paperwork, because you showed it. So we have that, I guess. You're a shit talker who tries to harm people. You are the lie in everything you claim. You are the lie. No, you. This is such cope. I love how each of these is like an individual sentence, though. That's pretty funny. Not only is each of these an individual sentence, but she, like, looks like she went out of her way to get her grammar correct. Manya is cake. Manya's got cake. Wink. Okay. I'm trying to, every time I listen, every time, the way she says things, it's like, wow, that's incredibly wrong. And the more you think about it, the more wrong you get. The cake is a lie. You are the lie in everything that you claim. That nonsense statement was her closer. Yeah, no, she thinks she cooked. She thinks she cooks with this. Ugh. Look at how simple what Manya's question was. Yeah, she's like taking off her, like she's put her sunglasses on like it's freaking CSI Miami. Yeah! What is the lie in that you and Sean committed contempt? You are the lie in everything you claim. It is not... Okay, so for anybody who's new and doesn't know, Aaron and Sean have been found to be in contempt of court by the court already. There are bench warrants out for their arrest. Like, this is not a statement of opinion. This is a matter of fact. They might not think that the paperwork or the court was fair, or they might think that the decision is, like, bad, but that's a different conversation than what is currently a fact, and it is currently a fact that they have been found in contempt of court on at least one count. Can I take evading the question for $800, please, Alex? Yeah, you notice how she doesn't actually say? Like, she doesn't actually say, because she knows she's in contempt. So she knows. We know that she knows. We know that she knows that she knows. And we know that she knows that we know that she knows. And the reason why we know that she knows is, one, she's trying to dodge it, two, she's trying to dodge other things, and three, she straight up said out loud on a stream that she was not going to go to her court hearing. She's cooked. She thought she was cooking, but instead she cooked herself. Aaron, stop hitting yourself. Like, this is just you fighting yourself at this point. Oh god, alright. So she makes a bunch of accusations trying to get Manya to be defensive or engage in, like, this circle jerk of not, like, this is nonsense. And she's trying to, like, hand wave and distract and, like, woo woo woo, look over here, don't pay any attention to blah blah blah. So you and Sean are not in contempt of court? I have no idea what you're talking about. I've seen and heard nothing to validate you lie here. Is that a... I think she means your lie here, but what she... Is that a Freudian slip, guys? Because in a bubble, this is like Sean saying, we don't do no violence here. That's what this is. Right? We don't do no violence means you do violence. It's a double negative. So I have no idea what you're talking about. I have seen and heard nothing to validate you lie here. So you don't have any validation in your accusation that Manya is lying, so therefore she's telling the truth? Or your accusations are nonsense that she's lying. So you're admitting that you don't know that she's lying or not. Do we need to play it for her?
You lie! You lie!
I'm gonna Invader Zim. Tell me how old you are without telling me how old you are is definitely big Invader Zim energy. I have seen and heard nothing to validate you lie. So you don't know that she's lying. You haven't validated anything. Okay. You put out the fires. In your heart? Looks like this, puts on sunglasses, is a double negative. Yeah! See, the default is you lie. Oh! Yeah. Yeah. Ah, I see. Okay, so I guess this got community noted, but I can't see it. Feline said, what is this in reference to here? What do we got going on here? Oh, okay, alright. So you and Sean are not in contempt of court. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so according to you, you and Sean are not in contempt of court. Gotcha. Well, it's about time you understood. Aaron, why would it be so hard to pull teeth for you to say that you're not in contempt? Good lord. Fucking Christ, she's so dumb. Feline then said, does the court understand as well? Because in their view, that matters. The court has already ruled on contempt once, which led to a lifetime restraining order. Your behavior hasn't changed, you're still doing the same thing, which makes it continued contempt. Yeah, I mean, is there any point in even addressing Erin in... I don't think there's any point in trying to convince Erin that she's in contempt. Erin knows she's in contempt, and she's just being... obstinate? Is that the word I'm looking for? Obtuse? On purpose? She's just being obtuse on purpose. She's just being obnoxious. And she's just trying to, like, find excuses to keep talking about this shit. But at the same time, I think it is a little bit important just to... So thanks, Beeline, for sending this to me, because I think it is a little bit important to point out, only because of, like, how absurd... Yeah, I got you. How absurd it is that this person literally has paperwork in their hands. They've been to court multiple times. They lost their court case. They know they lost their court case. They have shown other people their court paperwork. Like, they have shown their court paperwork online, and posted it places. We know for a fact Erin is in contempt of court. We know this for a fact. Erin knows this for a fact. So because we all know this, to show at this point in time how many years we're down, we're going on to year 4? Because, like, all this shit started in July of, what, 2022? 2021? 2022? When did this fucking shit start? Hold on, let me go get the original paperwork that Erin sent to me like a fucking idiot. Hold on, let me look. August of 2023? Yeah, I think we're gonna be starting our 4th year of this shit. Where did I put that? Is it in here? Oh, my thing titled... I have a folder titled Steve is a Weenie. I'm funny. I'm a funny guy. Is it... Oh, I have also Steve is a Weenie Part 2. Aaron... No, that's... Aaron's stupid. Oh, here it is. Aaron's original paperwork. Which I still never shared. I should just show you guys this shit. It's so fucking dumb. Yeah, 2023. Her original paperwork... The first hearing was set for September 5th, 2023. And she was served this it was stamped at the very least, so I don't know exactly what day she got the paperwork or whatever, but there's a stamp on it for August 28th, 2023. And we're going into... So that means this stuff started in July of 2023, and it is now July 2026. So yeah, we're going into the 4th year. 4 years! Oh, sorry, I knocked the microphone. So we're talking like 4 years of fucking this shit. And Erin here is sitting here 4 years later trying to pretend she's not in contempt of court. How about Erin explain how she's not in contempt? Which is really funny, because if she tried to explain how she's not in contempt, she would be in contempt. Yeah, that's the legal case in August. Yeah, the Facebook stuff was in July. Well, the original streams, like the in the beginning... stream. Hold on, let me pull it up. Wait, let's go to Aaron's channel. We'll see like when this like initially fucking took off, right? Like, look at this fucking shit. I won't be silenced anymore. And nothing else works. Turn to the public for protection. Like, you're not fucking Luigi Mangione, my bitch. Like, that's not fucking happening. Alright, let's take a look, birds. Discussing harassment. This is just ugly. Where's the creator panel? Should be in and around here, right? Here it is. Creator panel discussing Facebook groups and other things. So this was, yeah, July 20th, 2023. So it was after this stream. So this stream was sort of like the initiating beginning of all the harassment on YouTube, right? And then like it went out of control from there and got worse and worse and snowballed and has like continued on since. So although I'm not convinced that like this stream being here puts Steve in contempt, it puts Veda in contempt, it puts Megan in contempt, and it puts Aaron in contempt. So out of the 5 people on the panel, 4 of them, this stream still being up is still contempt. I don't know if there's really... I don't think this stream in and of itself would be considered harassment, but what this stream initiated became and escalated into harassment from at least this starting point. On YouTube, at the very least. Whatever was going on in the background and on Facebook or whatever. So I would not consider this stream harassment, but it blew up from there, and you had stuff like... let me see if I... you've got this happening, right? You've got, like, Steve and, one of, Aaron's moderators, who, to her credit, Autistic Shill has moved away from Aaron at this point and has for a while, so I'm not trying to give them any flack, but at the time they were trying to help Aaron get in touch with, Charla's family on Facebook and try to bring her on streams and all that kind of shit. Alright, so, like, this was all initiated from that. And then there was, like, this.
Autistic Shill for 5 Canadian. Thank you, Autistic. She says her daughter replied to me. I asked if I could do anything for her. Can you have her contact me, Autistic? Because yeah, I want to interview her.
Wait, which daughter? Because evidently she has more than one. I mean, it seems like there's 2 daughters who speak out on this thread, and then there's the daughters that she's still on good terms with or speaking with or whatever.
Yeah, so there's that. So that, like, escalated to us, and here we are now in the year of our Lord, 2026, going into the 4th year of this fucking online harassment nonsense, and, like, through court. This is through court and through litigation, because, like, nobody in their fucking right mind thinks that anybody that is just talking about some random person that doesn't really give them any benefit to talk about is going to keep doing this. You'd think that they would fucking stop. You brought your tomato plant inside and there was a bunch of earwigs in it? Gross. That's okay, they're good for the dirt, I think. Yeah, no, I think if this one creator video was the only one on that they did, even if they all did one of these types of videos on their channels, it would have felt overwhelming, but I don't think it would have been harassment. It was the ongoing trying to reach out to family members and all that shit that made it a problem. I really should finish off that timeline video, because, like, I've got the roughs for it down. Actually, I think I've got it. Oh, by the way, somebody sent me this for my birthday. I don't know who sent it to me, but thank you. It's a little Bulbasaur Potter. So I'm gonna have to, it's like a little plant. He's got a little butt. He's got a little hole for water. So I don't know what plant I'm gonna put in him. If you guys have any suggestions about what kind of plant I should put in him, let me know. I think I'm gonna paint some eyes for him, because I think I'm gonna paint some eyes and some splotches for him, because I think he needs a little bit of splotches. He's a little Bulbasaur. Isn't he cute? I think he's so cute. Look at you. Ooh, boop. Oh, okay. An aloe? Oh, an aloe plant would be cool. It'd be so tiny. That'd be cool. Alright, well, we'll see. We'll see what we put in him. So thank you, whoever sent this to me for my birthday. Alright. Let me check my notes. Serve a blooming onion in him. Kind of small for a blooming onion. Hold on. I got some notes. Oh, July 7th. July 7th. Don't mind my fugly handwriting. Let's see. July 7th, Rabbit had posted another content creator's content. Charla mods the content out of the Facebook group, citing copyright in terms of service. Which was the video that we are looking at, right? This original video here was about this, right? That's where that came from. Then Aaron hosts the creator panel, right? It's got Aaron, Steve, Veda, Nikki, and Megs in it. Then a bunch of videos came out escalating. And I don't even remember how many hours of content is, but I'm pretty sure Manya wrote it down in her thing. It's like over 24 hours worth of content in like a couple of days. The number of creators making content at the time was Steve, Moderate, Rabbit, Suzanne, EKC, Supernatural Crimes with Nikki, Veda Jade, Renelle Smith. Right? And the total sub number was upwards of like 100,000 subscribers. Then cease and desist started in August, and then service to Aaron was August 27th, 28 to Veda and Aaron and Veda. Then there was a moderator call where Steve was trying. That was in September. On September 3rd, Steve did that moderator call where he goes to frame Charla for doing crime in North Carolina, and he wanted to fucking serve her in North Carolina so she couldn't have his address, but he would have to put his address there. He's an idiot. He's so dumb. It's so stupid. Then Steve served Charla in California, and Charla served Steve in Kansas. Then there were hearings, and Steve gets a restraining order for not appearing properly, and Aaron and Veda have their hearing set for February 28th, I think. Then, how is Canada land handling the Texas heat? We're all inside. Everybody's inside. I moved my tomato plants inside. Everybody's hiding out. I've got a fan going in here. It's supposed to be rotating, but it's not. It feels like 40 degrees Celsius here right now. It's like 33 degrees. There's like a heat advisory warning. Normally there's kids running around outside. There's no kids outside right now. Everybody's hiding. Is it better than my last place? What do you mean? Hope you enjoyed your birthday. I did. I had a pretty good birthday. Considering. Is it cooler indoors? What? Yes. Okay, so yes. So the house I'm in now is nicer for temperature, but the room that I'm in right now isn't as nice as the other room. So the other room I was in was on the main floor, whereas this one's upstairs, so it's way warmer up here. But if I go sit down in my living room, the temperature is perfect. And if I get hot, I can go into the basement and it's super cool down there. It's really nice. But where I'm sitting right now, it's too warm. But that's okay. I'll cope. By drinking hot tea. I'm a genius. I grew up in this 2-a-day football practices. Are you... No. 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 I reject your reality. I refuse. This is really warm. This is not unheard of. This is not an unheard of temperature in Canada. It's just not very common. And like we've gotten 2 heat waves this year. So it does happen. It's just not super duper common. You have 28 in London today and your loft room reaches 40? Ugh. Ugh. That's terrible. If I reject it, what do you substitute it with? Ice cream. Ice cream and either like a busted open fire hydrant spewing water everywhere, or like a pond. Hey, welcome back. Okay, what else do we have here? Then Veda served Charla and Katie Joy in North Carolina, and that got dismissed. Cali court happened, and Steve dropped with no contest and no agreement. Rennell and then Down the Rabbit Hole at bedtime gets served, and then they start their fake fucking GoFundMe pretending that they're getting in trouble with Katie Joy when they weren't. There was the February hearing with Veda and Aaron, and that gets continued into March, and that's like as far as I wrote down. So I only got until March of 2024 written down, and it's now 2026, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Why are we still here? Why is this still happening? And it's there's a couple of reasons for it, and part of it is politics. So like part of it is simply because the court in a small town does not have the knowledge or grasp of what is going on. Now, I really do think that all of this stuff going on with this court and how long this has taken and what this court has been up to and why, etc., etc., I think is going to, at least if this happens in and around this district again, it'll get done faster because they'll have a better grasp of the situation and what's going on. Hey, Egghead, what's going on? Oh man, everybody's stopping by today. Hi! You heard the banjo music and came running? Hell yeah. Wait till the data centers start overtaking the grids. Oh no. No. I know. As soon as I saw like the first thing about the data center grids and like what they needed, I was like, summer's gonna fucking, people are gonna die, so many people are gonna fucking die. Like, the data centers aren't bad enough as they are, let alone like what happens when there's like a heat wave or something. It's gonna be so bad. This is a landmark case in the legal history of bumfuck nowhere, I know. Hey, Magicus, what's going on? Borg! Hello. Welcome. Yeah, there's gonna be, like, what happens when so I don't know what the policies are around, like, the data centers. Like, I don't know what happens to a data center when it blacks out. You know what I mean? Like, I know what happens to the CN Tower if there's a blackout and what goes on. Or, like, if the hospitals have, like, something and then, you know what I mean? Like, I know what happens if a city gets a blackout, but I don't know what goes on with the data centers. Part of the problem with the data centers is the amount of water that they use. I don't know how much solar is gonna help with that. Yeah. Everything's on fucking fire. Did you guys see that Aaron Brockovich is basically, for all intents and purposes, coming out of retirement to fuck with the data centers on legal grounds? I think that's great. Yes. Most hospitals have their own. I think they're a requirement in Canada. I don't know if they are in the United States. I would hope so, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know what these data centers are actually doing. Do you know what I mean? Like what purposes they're serving? Like, I get that they're crunching numbers, but like, I don't know, like, I don't really know what they're for. And like, maybe that's just because I've been too busy to find out. You know what I mean? Like, do you guys know? I don't know. Me no know. You know? Like, I know what a hospital does. I know what a hospital's day-to-day operations does. But I don't know what these data centers are actually doing, or why we need them, or what they're for. No. Are you guys playing with the emoji wall? Many of these data centers are installing their own mini power station, but that just means it will require even more water. Yeah, I'll put it... I don't know if I need to care about whether or not the data centers operate in a blackout, because I don't know what they're doing. I know that the data centers are for AI, but I don't know what they're doing to do what. Last winter, a power CEO here, Wade... having to shut down 400,000 residents' power because of overtaxing as climate change effects increases. Oh no. Oh no. That's terrible. That is not a position that the power CEO should be in. That is definitively not that kind of decision they should be making. Yeah, that's no bueno. I need to shave my, you know what I should do to counter this hate? I should shave the other half of my head. Or this half of my head. Should I shave the other half of my head? Should I go like a mohawk? Should I do it? Should I just do both? Just do my whole head. Gone. Go be bald. Data centers are rolling for initiative. Power models more more powerful models and more expensive marketing for them requires more processing power. Well, that just seems like it's just doing a circle jerk of its own stuff. We need a bigger AI center so we can have a bigger AI center so we can make a bigger AI center so we can have it so, like, for what? There should be regulations or laws that prioritize citizens over companies. Yeah, correct. But, like, what are these data centers actually doing? Like, I know that they're powering AI, but what is the AI doing that's so important? Cloud services. The new ones are being built to support AI, but a lot of the existing infrastructure. Okay. Wonder when the tech terrorists will start showing up. Great. Maybe it's like a Walmart? No! Yeah, stealing your information and selling it to themselves? Like, that's what it seems like to me. I feel like all of this just seems really it seems unnecessary and very, like, muddy and, like, unclear. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess the Pentagon put Claude or something, the AI Claude in their shit. My friend's dad makes hundreds of AI posters for his band. Why? What? Why? For what? For fun? You know that willow trees are really, really good at surviving storms. There's one near here that's fallen into a river, grown into the riverbed, fallen back, and been split by lightning. Yeah, no, willow trees are great for that kind of shit. They're very flexible, so... Completely unrelated news, a Catholic pundit is raising huge sums of money to put a cross on the moon as a reminder to humanity that Jesus is the king of the universe. What? 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 Why? For what purpose? Well, I guess to remind everybody that Jesus is the king of the universe. You know, because everybody needs to be reminded. He's so powerful that everybody needs to be reminded constantly. Otherwise, we'll forget. That's so fucking dumb. All those starving children will know who Jesus is. I guess. I guess. What the fuck? Did they ask AI for a way to waste money? Is that... Hey Christians, if you're gonna spend a vast sum of money, maybe use it to feed, house, and clothe people. Yeah, you think? Maybe that, yeah? Complain about foreign influence in Jewish society and 2,000 years later, people, and put your picture of your execution on the moon. Oh, the emojis. Yeah. There's the emoji wall's great. If you super chat and you put an emoji in the super chat, it will like blast that emoji everywhere. If you don't put an emoji in, it'll just pick them at random. If one company fails because it went too hard with AI, the whole bubble will burst, and so many countries are goping into recession. Going into recession. Now it's on fucking fire. Sharks. I love the emoji wall. Yeah, no, the AI, I don't think AI is gonna last. I think that there's a lot of investment going into it, and I think that you're gonna end up with a lot of that sunk cost fallacy of being like, well, we already invested so much money into it, we have to force it to work. Right? So they're gonna force it down everybody's throat, which is what we're seeing now, right? They're like, well, we're just have to, it's not working, so we need to double down on it and spend more money, and then, you know what I mean? And that's the stage we're in right now. So give it like another 2 years and the whole thing will collapse, and you'll have like, you know, when they do something and they build a bunch of something like those old fairs at and amusement parks, and they're like all run down and they're like they've been abandoned. That's what you're gonna see with these data centers, in my humble opinion. Money invested is like the same dollar passed around again and again and again. Yeah. AI is using the Elon Musk model of marketing. Yeah. Kinda over-promising. Where'd I get it? What? Where'd I get what? More money, more data centers, more emoji walls, 3D ray tracing. My shirt? Oh, this? I don't know. So, it's a hand-me-down, I think, from somewhere. My sister might have thrifted it. Mirror the dot-com balloon of the 2000s? Yeah, I think you're right, Rodent. I think you're right. It's gonna be something like that. Did the double A go through? I didn't catch it. Hold on, I'm gonna watch the replay. Oh, the double A did go through. That's cool. Nice. I don't know. I don't know. I quite frankly do not think AI is going to survive climate change. And by that I mean like the climate change initiatives, like the stuff that's being done about climate change. Like one of the only places the data centers are going to be allowed to exist is going to be the United States. And I just don't see that lasting long. And it's not that I think that the United States is going to like do a super big change over in its ideology or anything. I just think that there's enough large corporations in the United States with enough money that want to keep having those things that they're going to have to change. And when the corporations change, the politics will change. Because, unfortunately, a lot of America and its politics are corporate. But that's the way it is right now. So unless the people make that change on their own and force that, a Skynet Chesh. I am AI. I've been AI the whole time. Excuse me. AI is not going to survive the market forces. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. There's not a big enough market for it, and people don't want it. So, like, for example, like, remember when Google was pushing really hard for the Google Nest? How many people actually have Google Nests? If you wanted a really good example of this, how many people have Google Nest, and then compare it to how many people got the Wii? How many people had Wii when Nintendo put the Wii out? Because remember, one of the strategies of Nintendo when they released the Wii is they wanted to get a Wii in like every household. Like that was what they wanted to do. That was their intention. The Google Nest has not comparatively, it's not even remotely close to the success, like how successful Nintendo was at convincing everybody to buy a Wii. But part of that is the Wii is just a better product. Google Nest sounds like an infestation. It is. What's happening is a lot of local governments and state governments are trying to block the AI data centers in their area. Everyone wants AI, but nobody wants it in their backyard. I don't even think everybody wants AI. I'm not even convinced that that's the truth. And the Wii was one of their worst sellers. Yeah, the Wii and the Wii U, right? It's cold in space. Data centers make a lot of heat, so a center in space makes perfect sense if you don't understand thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics? I don't think, to be clear, I don't think all AI is bad, by the way. Some AI is good, it just needs to be implemented. Like any other tool, it just needs to be implemented properly. And people are treating AI like it's this sweeping, they're treating it like computing in the 90s. Right? Like just having a computer and computing. It's not gonna solve the world's problems. It's not gonna be able to just tell you the answer. That's not how it works. And so, like, all this machine learning it has a place, but they're trying to apply this tool to every job. And it's like, this tool only applies to this specific thing. Or these two things, these niche things. Now, these niche things might exist in multiple industries, and that's fine, and but as long as it stays in its corner where it fucking belongs, no issues. But they're trying to apply it, like paint it with a really big brush as if that's gonna work. It's not gonna work. AI just doesn't belong in certain spaces. AI just needs porn. People do not like AI porn. It's not popular. People aren't into it. It's not good. I mean, we talked about AI yesterday. If you want to hear my rant about AI and Terminator stuff, go watch yesterday's stream. I went on a whole thing about it yesterday. Use case that I use it for is one of the spaces it belongs to. Yeah. I do not think AI is inherently a bad thing that shouldn't exist. I think machine learning is great. I think it being able to like scrape data to chart out data for us quickly is a valuable resource. It doesn't belong in AI, it doesn't belong in art. It doesn't belong in the porn industry. It belongs in like number crunching. It's incredibly good at fucking number crunching and graphing out data for us, which can help us go through a lot of like biometrics and things incredibly quickly. I think there's places where it could be applicable in like medical fields, right? Things like, oh, it's gonna number crunch out all of this genome sequence, and it's gonna do it in like 10 minutes. Like, that's useful. That's great. Fantastic. The absolute wild AI in all things these days needs these data centers. Yeah, but we don't need the AI. We don't even want AI in all these other places. So we can fuck off. Sawed off. Yeah, protein folding. Yeah. MLMs are pretty bad. Yeah. Pattern recognition. AI weather forecasting. I'd have to ask Maddie. Dr. Maddie about that. Dr. Maddie might know a little bit more about whether or not it's useful. I suspect that AI could number crunch data points for meteorologists in a way that might be helpful, but I don't think it would necessarily be able to predict the weather, if you know what I mean. So it might be able to, like, if you were to input, like, all of the data between, like, this year and this year with the relevant variables and give the AI that and say, okay, graph this for me. Then graph this for me based off of this, graph this for me based off of that, graph this for me based off of this other thing. And then it would give you these 3 graphs, and then interpreting that data and going through it as a meteorologist, there might have something that is workable or usable. Yes, I hate AI porn. Fuck! There's no place for AI in my porn. Stormwatch? Oh, that could be fun, yeah. I'll talk to her about it. She's busy, so I don't know what her time is like, but... Alright, let's take a look.
Gives you such excitement about the way science works.
Over 6 decades, all of the scientists working around the world on protein.
We solved the problem. This gives you such excitement about the way science works.
Over 6 decades, all of the scientists working around the world on proteins painstakingly found about 150,000 protein structures. Then, in one fell swoop, AlphaFold came in and unveiled over 200 million of them, nearly all proteins known to exist in nature. In just a few months, AlphaFold advanced the work of research labs worldwide by several decades.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing that AI should be doing. Data crunching, the stuff that's like monotonous, would take us years and decades to do that the AI can do under a relatively short period of time. That's what it should be doing. Great. Good, do that. 10 out of 10. Fantastic. Completely random processes need no AI. Well, you know. Yeah, 1,500 or 1,500,000 in decades, and then 1 year, 220 million. Yeah, there is an application for AI. It's just, or an application, I should say, for machine learning. It's just not, it just doesn't need to be in everything, everywhere, all of the time. Like, I don't need my fridge to fucking have machine learning, alright? It's not necessary. I don't hate the idea of having my life patterned out for me. Like, if I just had, like, an AI... Like, if I agreed, like, to have an AI in my house watching me all of the time and, like, tracking, like, my sleep and my nutritional consumption, and, like, it had all that data and could just graph that data for me, that'd be kind of cool. I think that could be useful. But that's something that I would want to have access to, that then I then decide what I'm doing with that information, and it's not sending all that information off to, like, fucking Facebook, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that shit, that's terrible. But, like, having a medical professional, or, like, a nutritional professional, or, like, this people, like, you give that data to people who could do something with it, besides try to sell me shit? Don't need the fridge to tell me my food is spoiled. Yeah, right? Like, I don't need the fridge for that. What am I gonna eat for dinner later? I don't know. Maybe potatoes. Eggs and potatoes. I might have breakfast for dinner. Yeah, I don't need an AI assistant. I mean, maybe I would like that. Maybe I wouldn't hate that, but I feel like I would hate it. It'd be like, oh, don't forget you're supposed to do this thing. I'd be like, fuck you! Don't fucking tell me what to do! Rah! I would be pissed if my fridge was throwing out my food without my knowledge. Even if the food was bad. I'd be like, what the fuck? Let me make that decision. An AI that will one day take care of you, Mafia style. Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of you. They will pay. I made my D&D party play with kazoos, by the way. I made it happen. And they had a really good time. They actually really liked it, so that was good. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. And we'll do a little bit of politics stuff. So, yo, BRB. What if I do this? Can I do this? Fucking, they're not side by side in the right way. Let's actually, hold on, let's do this. Because I can. Why not? Nobody can stop me. There we go. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Hello, I have returned. Hi, welcome back. Oh, it is spicy out. Okay. Let me turn this down a little bit more. So I wanted to bring out the fern. This is a fern that I got. I pulled this out of my backyard. So we're gonna find out whether or not this fern is successful. It's got really strong roots, so hopefully it'll be good. But I've left it outside. It's gonna live outside. It's gonna live outside on the deck under the covered spot. So hopefully it'll do well there. I think it'll do pretty good. A lot of indirect sunlight back there. If it ends up doing well and establishes itself, I'll bring it inside over the wintertime. And then put it right where that frog is. Okay, so let's talk about politics for a hot minute. So, let's see. So I was looking at this earlier, as you can see, and I just want to play a little bit of this video.
Everybody, welcome back.
Because I think it's relevant. Let me put my headphones on so you guys don't have to get any echo. All right. Go.
In a shocking turn of events, the United States has decided that they're going to blackmail and extort the whole world. The latest headline reported this morning on Yahoo Finance: the President of the United States vows to reinstate Hormuz Strait blockade and charge 20% on all cargo shipped. Now, I usually don't like to cover what the...
All right, so I'm just going to pause right there real quick. And I'm just going to put this back so you can see it. Okay. Yeah, so this video is from 6 hours ago. I want to talk about this for a couple of reasons. First off, this is just mob. This is mob mentality. This is, oh yeah, I love Klaus. He's great. Mr. Kellerman, I've been watching him for like about a year and a bit now. He's been wonderful. And I want to like also promote him. He's cool. This is straight up just, this is a protection racket. That's what this is, and I think he gets to that in this video. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I just looked at the beginning. But yeah, that's what this is. This is a protection racket. This is, I'm going to cause the damage, then I'm going to protect you from the damage that I'm causing and I'm doing. That's all this is. And you'll notice, yeah, as Borg is already pointing out, this is illegal. Now something being illegal has certainly not stopped Donald Trump in the past, and surely it will not stop Donald Trump in the future, nor the Trump administration. But we are back to the United States is actively making itself a problem for the rest of the world. And so that's sort of why I'm bringing this up a little bit, because this is... the United States in the past has had a lot of direct power and soft, like hard and soft power. The United States trying to go out of its way. The United States kind of going out of its way to try to like bully everybody is only going to make everybody not want the United States to be in a position where it can do that. You know what I mean? Nuremberg, not far. Yeah, this is very Nuremberg. And Red Cedar brings up that Japan does not appreciate having their oil supply restricted. I will remind you the last time that Japan's oil supply was restricted and Japan was having an energy crisis related to that situation is when Pearl Harbor happened as a result of that. So I don't know why the United States, and I'm sure it's not everybody in the United States. I'm sure there is a large portion of the United States, the population of the United States, that understands this is not the case. But that number is not high enough. There's a large portion of people in the United States and the populace, including a lot of the people in power, that seem to think the United States is untouchable and that they won't get attacked, and they can't get attacked on their own soil. I don't know why they think this. It's 9/11 wasn't that long ago. But Feline says, I don't think Japan would redo a Pearl Harbor. Oh, I do not put it past Japan, if they feel that it is necessary, that they will protect themselves physically if they feel that they have to. Hopefully they won't feel like they have to. If I'm not mistaken, Canada is swooping in a little bit to save the day. Yeah, I know you mean not a literal one. No, Japan is smarter than that. I don't think they would do the equivalent of a Pearl Harbor. Whatever that might look like, I don't think they would do. I think Canada is pulling a we're gonna swoop in and save the day and help everybody build a bunch of nuclear energy facilities. I think that's what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure Japan has a lot. Does Japan have uranium? Australia has uranium. I think Australia is closer to Japan physically, isn't it? Yes, because Canada's on the opposite side. So it's what Canada likely won't be the one selling a lot of uranium to Japan. But I think unless there's like they make some kind of agreement, which is not impossible. Japan will absolutely isolate Canada. I don't know if they'd do a travel ban yet, but would you call Trump a scumbag? Keep in mind, doing so would insult all scumbags by saying he's one of them. Valid. Oh, did I say Canada? Sorry. No, I don't see Japan isolating Canada. I can see United States is isolating itself. I don't think anybody's gonna have to do anything. You know what I mean? There are already travel advisories for the United States. I can see those travel advisories either becoming more strict or more stringent or more aggressive, but I don't think people are going to need to do much. The United States is doing a good enough job on its own. But what I see happening from something like this, because whether or not this gets followed through on, which I don't think it will, and I don't think it can. Like, I don't think this is going to go much of anywhere outside of being really detrimental to the global economic balance, because it's going to fuck with the markets, right? It's just going to make all of that really unstable. But that might be intentional. But I don't really care whether or not it's intentional right now. At least that's not what we're talking about. The issue, the result of this, I think, is going to push other countries more towards nuclear power. And in doing so, in pushing the rest of the world more towards nuclear power is something that can help Canada a lot and can help Australia a lot should Australia move quickly and sort of do the same sort of thing that Canada's doing, which hopefully they do. But if we push a lot of these countries or take advantage of the situation to enable a lot of these countries to move away from oil, that's going to have a very positive effect on climate change issues. It's also going to have a very positive effect on moving the global economy away from its reliance on oil, as well as away from its reliance on the United States. I also am curious to know what that's going to do to Iran and Israel and Afghanistan and India, Pakistan, like that whole area, because like a lot of the strife from Saudi Arabia, because if the world moves away from oil, that changes the economic dynamic of how much money they have via that oil, right? So if there's anything Aussies are set up for at speed and scale, it's mining. Yeah, if Australia does, like, takes advantage of that, and then to me that would enable Australia to have a desire to make their own nuclear plants relatively quickly. And I don't think it's going to take as long to build a lot of these nuclear facilities as they normally do. Normally a nuclear facility takes 7 to 10 years to set up and build the infrastructure for. I think we're going to see that take less time. I might be wrong. I'm thinking the time scale on that 10 years is going to get cut in half, at least, if not more. Where you're going to see a lot of money get thrown at this really, really quickly, and a lot of these things are going to get built really, really quickly. Just make sure your local area is not skimping out on the safety, which I don't see that really happening. Not in any of like the G7 countries. So I don't. I think it'll be fast. Yeah, exactly. New build method of small modular reactors. It's gonna speed things up. And usually when stuff like that gets ramped up and sped up, they find ways that they can make to do things faster, where they will like mass produce something and then ship it out, so it cuts the time in half because all the pieces are built and then you just have to throw it together, right? So if automation and like needing to produce like X number and be like, okay, well we're gonna set up a fucking machining factory and it's gonna build like this part, this part, and this part, and this other one's gonna build this part, this part, this part, and then once those are done, they're gonna go over here, they're gonna right? Moving away from oil is a security plan. That's a really good point, Red Cedar. So like that's a really good point because right now everything is so unstable and so nobody really wants to go to war. You know what I mean? Yeah, plus fusion. We should actually probably do an update on fusion stuff with like Landon and Dapper, but because the United States is basically threatening war and going to war on multiple fronts, both economically, the economic terrorism, on top of like bombing Iran over oil, and Venezuela, and stealing and engaging in piracy, and like just stealing tankers of oil. Everybody, like, all this is doing is encouraging everybody to move away from oil. I mean, even the United States' activity in the Middle East after 9/11, after everybody knew that fucking George W. Bush Jr. was fucking lying to everybody about weapons of mass destruction, that there's already the shift had started then to not want, like, it's a meme that the United States is gonna bring, like, it's gonna bring you freedom for your oil, right? Like, that's not, like, it's a meme and it's a joke, but there's not no truth to it. So a lot of countries are not interested in having things that the United States is going to be so gung-ho to fucking bomb the shit out of you and kidnap your people and do piracy on the 7 seas over, you know what I mean? So yeah, oil right now is a security risk. And so moving away from that is going to be a pretty high priority for everybody, and that lends itself to a positive direction for climate change. By using fast breeder reactors, we can produce fuel at an exceptionally exponentially increasing rate. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We should actually do, like, I think on Debate Hub, I'll write this down. You know what? I'm gonna write this down right now, so I don't forget. Conversation about human power facilities / capabilities / speed, etc. Because I do know, like, there's a couple of people that I think would be interested in that conversation. We can get Jordan and Craig and Dapper and Landon, maybe. Oh, Ed, speaking of Landon, hey. Oh, hey, oh. Fancy meeting you here. Your ears were burning. Oh, hey, Al. Welcome. Oil vanishing, yeah, that's another, like, oil being a limited resource. Everything was going to go in this direction regardless. It's just a matter of time and how long it's going to take. Like, oil, this is why, like, building a pipeline for oil in Canada is we're not, like, relying on it is not going to be, it's not very forward thinking. But do I smell sulfur? The last time we did a fusion versus fission episode was, like, I think 2 years ago. Landon, do you remember? It was a while ago. So, like, doing an update would be a good idea, in my humble opinion. All right, let's move on and watch a little bit more of this, because there's more to this.
And charge 20% on all cargo shipped. Now, I usually don't like to cover what the President of the United States spews onto social media because his mind can change from minute to minute, and I don't like to amplify the sea of BS which he clouds the world with. But in this particular case, it's going to have an effect on the whole world, including Canada. So without paraphrasing or giving my opinion, let me read exactly his words from what he posted on his Truth Social platform. The Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran's ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. Now, this is the most important part. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. Okay, so I know a lot of you are.
All right, so let's talk about that. Remember when I said this is a protection racket? This is what a protection racket looks like. We caused the problem. Now we're going to protect you, but you have to pay for. Does Trump think he's in an anime? He thinks he's the main character of an action movie. The man is living in a dream. Everyone around him is lying to him. I think that's true. I think Al's got a good point there. I think Trump's handlers are just, he's saying stuff, and then his handlers are patting him on the head, and then saying, yes, Mr. President, and then doing whatever they were going to do anyway. I don't think Donald Trump is in control of very much anymore. One of the only things I think he actually is in control of right now is his Truth Social handle. That is so illegal. Yes, correct. It is very illegal. His statement in what he intends to do is incredibly illegal, both in the United States and outside of the United States. So, what does the rest of the world do about this, do you think? Because I don't foresee any country really responding to this. I don't see Macron coming out and being like, so Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. I don't see that happening. If a different president, if this wasn't Donald Trump, if a different president had made this kind of a statement a handful of years ago, then you would probably see world leaders making responses, either written or otherwise, through whichever means and facilities they do. You'd see they would be responding to this. But with Trump, everybody is just doing their own thing, minding their own business, and ignoring what this man is saying. Unfortunately, the market is not going to ignore what Donald Trump is saying here. Right? He's not in control of his bowels or wakefulness. Correct. He is certainly he's chomping as a guard. This man is the Penguin. I think world leaders would reach out through diplomatic means and explain in detail why this is not going to be a good thing for the United States. I'm not even convinced they're doing that at this point anymore. I think they're giving up. That's just my opinion, though. Trump backs away from plans to charge fees to the Strait of Hormuz as attacks intensify. Yeah, he's this video and this post was from July 13th at 8:16 a.m. Right? So this is from yesterday at 8 in the morning. And so by the following day, he's reversing this, right? Because of course he is. The issue isn't necessarily that he's saying this shit, and the issue isn't necessarily like that, oh no, he's gonna back out. Of course he's gonna back out. Yeah, Taco. We know he's Trump always chickens out. He's not going to follow through with this. Same with every other fucking thing he's been on about since he started. However, the reason I think this one is particularly important to address in this case is that the market has already responded. The market fluctuation is the issue here. because the market isn't ignoring what Donald Trump is saying, which I'm curious as to why. Do you think that is? Time for some goblin cheese with some elvish wine. Don't try the goblin toilet wine. It tastes bad. Goblin wine would be mushroom based. For sure. More dumb? I don't know how I could get more dumb than fucking Donald Trump Truth Social, my guy. How do you get more dumb than that? Please advise. I don't know how to get more stupid. Taco is not a negative to Trump, it's a strategy. I don't even think it's a strategy. I think that half of it, the first half is strategy and the second half isn't. I think that, like, I don't know. He's becoming addicted to how easy it is to make money for his friends by just yanking the market as a world leader. Yeah, I think you're right. So I think that part of that might be the reason why the market is still reacting and responding to Donald Trump's fucking posts. Are we sure it's not his children who hold the bank details who are posting? Yeah, everything about Trump's presidency, both first and second, is like wholly goes against the spirit of some of the Constitution, right? And the amendments. What's our word I'm looking for here? Not the Declaration of Independence. What's the other one? Which document is it that says the president's not allowed to own property and shit? Which one is that? I don't remember which state document that is. Suspect that the market, Landon says, I suspect that the market is reacting to uncertainty and is unhappy about this off and on again mess. Yeah. Yeah, I suspect, like, the big wigs are not too impressed that there's a small group of people scamming the entire planet and scamming them out of their money. Because I don't think Trump's friends are the, like, real people in charge. Like, people with big money globally, do you know what I mean? The emolument clause, is that what it is? Oh, it's articles of the Constitution. Yeah, that sounds right. Landon says there are some people playing that scam prediction market, sucking people into bats, but knowing the inside of the White House, what will be announced next. I think that there are too, but I think those people are like Trump's quote-unquote friends, right? And I just do not think that's a I just don't think that Donald Trump's friends who are that him and his friends are engaging in this scamming. I think they're scamming people out of money who are, like, larger than they are. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm being clear. I don't mean like the Illuminati, but I mean like people with real money. My understanding is that there's no formal requirement that the president divest himself for personal property investment. Traditionally, president did this to prevent the perception of impropriety. Yeah, like there's maybe like I think the United States needs to do some things to improve itself in ways to deal with this kind of corruption, but I don't think that's going to happen while this group is in office. Yeah, I agree with Landon. But I think the game that they're playing is a very dangerous one. The game that they're playing on a couple of levels. So, like, if you have you ever seen, like, when somebody goes into a casino and they're like, "Oh, I know how to count cards. or I know how to do this. I'm gonna scam the casino." And then they win some money and then they get the casino's attention and the casino is like, "Hey, this guy's fucking with our shit." And then the casino gets involved. Trump is currently playing at the casino and him and his friends are winning big, but now they're causing too much problems in the casino. Do you know what I mean? I think that that's the direction this is going in. Hey, Titan, good to see you. Welcome. Cool, display picture. I like that. Check Discord DMs. What did you send me? What is this? Protest group brings Iran war participation trophy to National Mall. This is the latest installation from the Secret Handshake, the group behind the Trump-Epstein friendship statue and others. A group behind a number of eye-catching installations critical of the Trump administration is back. The Secret Handshake placed a giant golden participation trophy for Donald Trump on the National Mall on Monday. The tongue-in-cheek press release described the trophy as an attempt to de-escalate the ongoing Iran conflict through positive reinforcement. We hope this very large award will fit alongside the FIFA Peace Prize and seized Nobel Prize in the president's growing collection. Oh, that's funny. That's good. I like that. Yes, Athens, you have a very good, very nice, very good, very great, the best display picture. There's only one game in which that works, and it's blackjack, and only if you can actually count an 8-deck shoot. Yeah, no, the counting cards in gambling is generally not a great strategy. Counting cards isn't even that hard. If counting cards worked consistently, it would be way more of a thing. It's mostly just like a media fucking what's it called? Like Hollywood. It's a Hollywood thing. Okay, let's play a little bit more of this.
Security to this very volatile section of the world. Okay, so I know a lot of you are really tired of hearing this idiot's rhetoric. He posts these things, and a lot of times the post is just directed at his base, and there's a lot of talk and hoopla, and the message is amplified on social media, and then really nothing happens. I think a little while ago he said that the U.S. would no longer trade with Spain and would cut off visiting Spain, to which his staff replied, yes, sir. But since then, we haven't heard anything about the United States stopping trade with Spain. But this particular...
Yeah, has anybody heard anything about Spain? Has there been any update to that whatsoever? I remember that happening, and then I was busy and away, so, like, what happened? Anything? Is it nothing? Is it fucking nothing? I feel like it's fucking nothing. If you can actually remember every card played, it works great. Yeah, and if you have access to that information, right? So a lot of card counting is also just like knowledge of probability, right? Math. It's certainly not perfect like people like to pretend, like Hollywood likes to pretend it is. We should talk about card counting one day. That would be fun. We should do that. I should find somebody who would be good for talking about counting cards.
Post and rhetoric and the actions of the United States have already affected the markets in a way that will result in everything being more expensive for you and me and everyone in the world. Oil prices are already up 6% today. Here's a graph of oil prices. They were trending at around $60 a barrel, West Texas Intermediate, until the United States started this war on Iran, and they spiked up over $100 a barrel. And they had been coming down as there was hope that the hostilities would end. But of course now the war is raging on again, and this escalation by the president is causing prices to start trending up again. But the thing that's...
All right, so let's stop there and take a look at this graph. I'm just gonna move this out of the way so we can see a little bit better. So this is the thing that I was interested in bringing up to talk about today, and it is the market values, right? I turned the fan back on, so I apologize if there's like a little bit of a fan noise going on in the background. Let me know if it's bothersome. I'll leave it on for like a minute or two and then turn it off because it's cooling down my feet. Check out Marco Rubio's insane post. You have a link to it? I can go find it, but so you can see like how low this is. This at the lowest, it's what, 55 by the looks of it, and then like it spikes up to over 110, and then it would finally drop down to below 70, and now it's trending back up again. So what do you think other countries' responses to this are going to be? Titan, I wouldn't be opposed to having you on. It would be a debate hub thing, though. Do you wonder whether or not whether Trump thinks in his baby brain that if he took control of Greenland, he would be entitled to the title of a king because it belongs autonomously with the land of a king. I don't know, man. I don't know what his baby brain is thinking. Stock time. Stonks. Listen, dealing with stocks is just gambling for everybody who doesn't know what's going on and fraud for everybody who does. All right, let's take a look here. The International Climate Court seeks to become the unaccountable arbiter of a new global law. Ooh, spooky language that doesn't actually mean anything. Wow, imagine that coming out of somebody like Marco Rubio. Empowered to prosecute and arrest our citizens at will. Citizens. Yeah, an individual citizen is causing too much climate problems, Marco. You fucking... empower, prosecute, and arrest our citizens at will and existentially threaten American sovereignty. We will teach the ICC the full meaning of American resolve. You mean American resolve as, like, this? Getting pulled back immediately? The American resolve of taco? Is that what we're talking about? Is that American resolve? Okay. All right, let's listen to what he says.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders.
Why is it so quiet? What the hell?
Determine our own laws. And when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today,
you know, this would be meaningful if you didn't just release a bunch of pedophiles and release the January 6ers and do a bunch of pardoning. If you actually held Donald Trump responsible for his crimes during his first term in office, this might actually mean something. If you didn't, recently, like, abduct a leader of a foreign country and do piracy on the ocean to steal their oil and then shoot survivors in the water, like, then maybe I might give a shit about you talking about the law. You don't have to travel to other countries that have signed on to the ICC. That's true. You could just isolate yourselves.
Today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life. And they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you haven't.
Yeah, the International Criminal Court has been around for a while. Do you want to talk about when they were established and why they were established, Marco? That might be relevant to your citizens. No, they're gotta be out here defending their buddy BB. That's what this is for. Listen, they're gonna teach us the American resolve about not giving a shit about law, the rule of law, or any rules, or giving a shit about anybody else besides themselves.
But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or...
Listen, you do not get to lean on the ignorance of the American people, okay? I'm gonna stop you right there. You are just leaning on the ignorance of the American people that they don't know, and they're not gonna bother to educate themselves on the matter. Alright? Now, chat, is there anybody in the United States from the chat right now? I'd like to think that my audience is smarter than this. I like to think that the Americans... the people from the United States that come by my channel are smart enough that if they're going to engage in this topic and not just think Marco Rubio is completely full of shit, that they would actually just go and look up the history of the ICC. And they would just go and look up who the judges are. And they would just go and look up what the ICC is actually about. They would just go look. And they would be like, oh, okay, and make their own decision. I would like to remind you that the ICC is... Google countries that have signed the ICC and countries in which Trump has business interests and compare. Listen, Titan, you can't just come in here and say something like that. You can't just fucking come in here and say something so true that is going to absolutely fucking obliterate these people. You can't just do that. Listen, you're allowed to be ignorant or dumb. You can't be ignorant and dumb. That's just a recipe for fucking disaster.
Its president, and you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country.
The ICC and its friends are waging a war. I'm a little giddy. I just got off the phone with Lindsey Graham. Was it a 20-minute call? Oofed. Oofda. Oofda. Hey, thank you so much for the stretch. I will take that.
Not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes, compacts, and the force of so-called international law. When
the force of so-called international law is America out here saying it doesn't care about war crimes? Because, like, I mean, I can understand them saying that they don't care about war crimes, but, like, especially since, you know, they were doing them kind of recently. But are you sure you want to say that you're going to annex Canada and then turn around and say that war crimes aren't crimes anymore? Because I feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot if you want to give Canada permission to do more war crimes. I don't know if that's... Isn't that the qualifications to renovate the reflecting pool? These people are terrified that if they lose their election, the international community is going to come looking for accountability, aren't they? Yeah, this is them being afraid of the Nuremberg trials. This is them being afraid that the government changes over, they're going to lose the midterms, and when they lose the midterms and they lose a whole ton of their power, then the international court is going to stand beside the citizens of and the rest of the world that are like G7 countries ostensibly are going to stand beside or behind or in front of the American people. I would like to point out all of these other as much as the average citizen in the United States nobody expects them to care, like foreign countries, for people outside of the United States, the citizens of those other countries, like citizens of Denmark, citizens of Canada, citizens of Germany, citizens of France, citizens of the UK, have next to zero expectations of the citizens of the United States to know anything about them, to care about them, to know anything about their countries, to care about any of their laws. Like, nobody expects an average US citizen to know these things or care about these things. That doesn't mean that the US citizens don't care about these things and don't know these things. I'm just saying that's what the expectation is. That's the way the rest of the world views the average American citizen. That none of those things matter to those citizens. None of the countries that I've mentioned, and others, have actually done anything to harm the American citizens in retaliation. Not intentionally. There are things... There are things that have affected the US citizens, particularly in rural areas, but that's because of US policy, not because of foreign policy. Or the policies of people outside of the United States, right? So, this is not... Yeah, it's a stretch for US citizens to know things about the United States. Right, the bar is so fucking low, right? So fucking low. So, the international community, and people in the UK, people in France, people in Germany, people in Canada, people in Denmark, people in Norway, people in Greenland, people in Australia, New Zealand, etc., 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 are going to side with the citizens of the United States. That's what they're going to do. Not Marco Rubio, not the current administration of the United States, but the United States, when they get rid of this current fascist populist nonsense, neo-fucking Nazi garbage, the rest of the world will more than likely assist the next group, assuming the next group of the United States, because getting rid of Trump and this particular administration does not mean that the United States has dealt with the neo-nationalist authoritarian shit that's going on. They're gonna have to do more than just get rid of this one administration. They're gonna have to, like, pick all these fleas off the dog, as it were, you know what I mean? But once the United States, the citizens of the United States, make that decision to move away from this style of governance, then it's very likely that the rest of the world is going to back them up and assist them in doing so, and assist them in reestablishing whatever it is that they want to do, and assist them in reestablishing trade routes and what their new position is going to be in the global fucking sphere. Right, this shit runs deep. What the rest of the world is waiting for is they're waiting for the United States citizens, the citizens' decision to change and move away from this. And there is a large portion of the United States citizens that do want to move away from this. It's just not enough yet. It's just not enough yet. Maybe after the midterms we're going to see a sort of like a big push, which very well might be the case. They're going to see if the United States is going to hold itself accountable, right? Because there's no reason for the rest of the world to rush. We're not your babysitter. It's not Canada's job to rush to deal with somebody like Marco Rubio, right? It's not, but the international court is watching. The international court, the other countries are watching. They're looking at these things. They're seeing these things going on. They're seeing the United States as a threat. So, I mean, I don't know what that's going to look like, but the international court, like, again, we're back to, there's going to be the United States is going to move as fast as it can, right? And it takes everybody, and it takes a lot, and it takes time, and some of these things, like I've said before, I have this phrase that I like to use affectionately, I call these people tactile learners. They do not learn until they experience something directly. And there's a lot of people who are supportive of Donald Trump who have not gotten to the point where they're feeling the effects of what Donald Trump is doing. Right? They're not there yet. And it will not happen until it is, and it has to be direct. Right? It's the same thing, like, if we want to use Erin, for example. Erin is not going to learn anything until something directly happens to her, and it has to be done to her. Right? So, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
ICC was born 24 years ago. They told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes.
Like genocide and war crimes? You mean like the genocide you're assisting in? Like that kind of genocide? The genocide you're helping do in Palestine? That kind of genocide? Or are you talking about war crime like a military boat doing piracy and shooting survivors? Like that kind of war crime? Hey! See you later, Raiden. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining. Have a good day at work. Or your way from work. Oh, you're home now? I don't know, whatever. Have a good day. Whatever, I don't know, I don't care. I just hope whatever you're doing, you're having a good time.
And only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who...
Drink for unelected globalist bureaucrats. I need more beer. I require booze. I require booze. Booze delivery.
claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of
Oh, I muted. I'm so used to my glasses, but I've been thinking about getting laser eye surgery. But I'm so used to my glasses. But it might be nice to fucking see. The U.S. has never recognized the ICC jurisdiction. This is the first time. Oh, sorry, hold on. I lost your chat. The U.S. has never recognized the ICC's jurisdiction. This is the first time, however, that I've heard it turn into an international conspiracy to usurp the U.S.'s control of the United States laws. Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why Netanyahu was able to visit the United States, right? Is because they don't recognize the ICC, right? Are my glasses red? Yes, they are red. Just because someone is appointed doesn't mean their position is invalid. Correct. Wasted. Just me getting drunk on stream. It's been a while. Marco is in the almost unique spot of his title of Secretary of State being nothing more than dark mark on his career. Yeah, well, I don't think his career survives after this. Do you guys think Marco Rubio has a career after this? I don't think so. I think not. No. Do I appear flustered? I have not been wearing glasses my whole life. I've had glasses since a little bit after high school. Hey, twinsies! The only reason, like, I've had these glasses for a really, like, this particular pair for a really, really long time, and I haven't gotten updated ones. And one of the reasons is because I can't find frames that are this size anymore. They're all bigger, and I like these ones. They suit my face. I don't like change! Sorry. Alright, drink for, what was he? Globalist, fucking, whatever.
The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system.
Why does this sound like it sounds like some fucking dictator shit. You know what I mean? This is the type of thing that you would expect to hear from, like, Netanyahu. This is the type of thing you would expect, like, this is a speech, this is a North Korean speech. This is Russia. This is, like, something I would expect to hear from, like, Winnie the Pooh. Like, the fact that I'm hearing this from fucking Marco, look at his face. Sad Marco. Sad Marco is sad. Marco talking about, like, Alex Jones. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. It's like, what the fuck?
Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle,
such as
all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country.
You know, if you had... Okay, alright, hold on. Okay, first off, your bombing Iran is not you defending your country. You supplying weaponry to Israel so they can continue and as you enable their genocide is not you defending your country. You doing economic terrorism on the planet is not you defending your country. You not, like, defunding things like USAID is not you defending your country. If you wanted American representation in the international court, you could do that. You could have influence on that if you joined and recognized the court of international, like the international court. But you don't, so you're bitching about something you're choosing not to participate in. Gio points out in the chat that this is just literally the Nuremberg lawyer's defense. I don't care for this court. It's my opinion. Its opinion is of no relevance for me. Only the opinions of the German people. Yeah. Accountability is wrong. Yeah, accountability is wrong. Didn't you hear? That kidnapping a leader of a foreign country is not defending your own. ICE attacking your police force attacking your own citizens is not you defending your own country.
The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will.
There's only America and not America, and the hyper-individualism of the United States citizens, and fuck everybody else. So this is the same kind of defense that I see people saying that, like, oh, well, that state doesn't have any power in my state. They'd be like, oh, well, that's Kansas court, and they can't do anything to me because I'm in Arkansas. They can't do anything to me because I'm in New York. That's not how it works. Al points out the American people never agreed to be fleeced by insurance companies for giving birth. Yeah, good point.
The words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses.
You fought yourselves.
Independence is our birthright. We will never let...
Oh, now you agree in birthrights? Wait, hold on. Now birthrights are valid? Doesn't that kind of fly in the face of that's not a thing anymore in the United States? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Full faith and credit. Yeah, right, RNGD? Fucking Christ. Fucking hell. Interesting. Yeah. Yes, master. Interesting.
Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us.
Oh, really? And tell that to Netanyahu, and tell that to Russia, who's been pulling your fucking president by the dick since his first term in office? Something, tu quo que? I don't know.
This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Which is taco, which is Trump always chickens out. Nobody believes in your American resolve. Everybody thinks that you're gonna do dumb shit, cause a bunch of havoc, and then run away. That's what you've done every time. Fucking Pakistan, fucking Iraq, fucking Vietnam. Like, the United States comes in, causes a fucking mess everywhere, and then runs away pretending they won. They're the Black Knight. Oh my god! This union has seen better days. Yeah, you're right. We've been conditioned to ignore this, like this illegal kidnapping of foreign leaders, illegal foreign military and genocides. Yeah, no. Yeah, the American citizens are, like, so overstimulated with, like, just absolute nonsense and bullshit that they're just... It's awful. It's terrible. American law doesn't apply outside of the United States. Well, you know, that's not what they think. It's just... The ICC is a court, not an army. Yeah, he's talking about the ICC like it's some kind of military action, and it's not. It's not even a little bit anything like that. How are you guys doing up north? In Canada? It's warm. It's toasty. It's toasty up here. I'm not gonna lie. But otherwise, I think we're doing pretty okay. We got some trains. We got some trade deals. We have some cool military updates to our military policy that's been kind of fun. Remember when people were listening to the grievances against King George from the Declaration of Independence and right-wingers assumed it was about Trump? Yeah, welcome. How toasty. So have you guys ever seen the game I Am Bread? I'm about midway through becoming toast. I like your little NASA thing. Your little NASA logo. Oh, that's your display picture? I like that. That's cute. I like trains. I'm happy about trains. Oh my god, if we could get, like, Canada better interconnected and improve our trade amongst ourselves, we're gonna be sitting pretty. We're gonna be sitting pretty. Give Canada a decade and you're gonna see, like, so much change in Canada. It's gonna be mwah. Mwah. Does he even know what bureaucrat means? Does Marco Rubio know what bureaucrat means? Marco Rubio definitively knows what bureaucrat means. He's just got Trump's hand up his ass. Canada getting Europe-level trades would be huge. Oh my god. Could you imagine? Bless. Please. I beg. Hell, listen, like one train going across, like even one extra train going, like interconnecting would be huge on its own, let alone like give us like a decade or two and just, At least Trump's hands are small for. That's funny, I like that. Alright. Yeah, no, Marco Rubio's a fucking freak, and like I do not like how they're trying to preemptive. They know that they're okay. How do I put this? They know they're losing, right? That the Trump administration knows that they're losing, and they're getting into a worse and worse and worse position. They're getting into a worse and worse position because they know they're unpopular in the United States amongst their own people. They know they're unpopular globally. Right? What they're doing is absurd and nobody likes it. They know they're doing war crimes. They know they're doing illegal shit. They know this. They know these things. So we're at the point where right before the midterms, because this is like, what, a couple of months before the midterms, they are priming the United States people to be aggressive or disagree with any news that is coming out that is I shouldn't say anti, that's against them. Right? Anything that is like holding this administration responsible for the things that this administration has been doing globally. So I'd like to point out, as much as Marco Rubio wants to say this is we're Americans and we're going to do stuff in America for Americans, like, great, but this is an international court that does care about what is happening to citizens internationally, but also it's not like the United States is only doing stuff in and amongst on its own borders, is it? No, it's not. It's not. It's been actively interfering with things like what we were looking at earlier. So this change to this protection racket that Donald Trump announced unilaterally that he was going to do to all of these foreign countries that utilize the strait, which is basically fucking everybody, is an attack on the international markets and an attack on these countries and those countries' citizens, right? So it's not like the United States is not doing things to other countries intentionally. And here's the other thing, like, yeah, he tacoed and he backed out of doing this, of course he did, but it already fluctuated and affected the market in a negative way against everybody else in the way that Donald Trump intended. Is operating as intended. Yeah, you've got a good point. It's also against international maritime laws. The United States doesn't own the fucking world. The United States is not independent in a way that allows it to do whatever it wants to everybody else. The Declaration of Independence means nothing in what Marco Rubio is referring to in this context. It's irrelevant. Canada's population density is too low for a lot of trades. There are some routes that make sense, but not Europe level. Yes, I agree. Like that, we wouldn't need Europe level. We're not that. We're also way more spread out. Our population size is not enough, and we don't quite have the infrastructure to expand that way, and won't be able to expand that way for at least another 100 years. One train ought to be enough. So sad. So, Quebec City to Vancouver high speed. Oh my god. Every major city having a high speed rail between them in Canada, and then like add in some of the smaller ones. So you get like Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Montreal, Quebec City, Halifax, Newfoundland. Halifax is Nova Scotia. Newfoundland is what? The fuck is the name of that city? Fredericton is New Brunswick. Victoria and Vancouver, if you could get both of them. What's the other one in Alberta? Calgary and Edmonton is the other one. Vancouver to Halifax. Yeah, if you could hit boom, 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 and hit everything, and then get like one to Sudbury, if you want to start like expanding the Canadian population to allow them to move more north, you would need to get like Sudbury with probably a stop in like somewhere like Huntsville, or Orillia would be really good. And that's just Ontario. And there'd be like one or two cities you can hit in Quebec. And then you'd be like, yeah, if you could hit all like the capital cities for each of the provinces, that'd be really good. As for the territories, I don't know, like that the infrastructure to do something like that with Canadian weather, I don't know if that's possible. It'd be really cool if it was, but I'm not sure if that's possible. Just like between the weather and the temperature, like large area and low population density would put you in prime position for some new entries on the list of most scenic rail countries on Earth, would it? Yes, it would. Oh, it'd be beautiful. It'd be gorgeous. North-south links and a northern main line, yeah. Yeah, if it's possible and we can take a note from them, I would love that. I'd be able to like go up to like the Yukon and go up to like, that'd be beautiful. I would adore that. When I was in Germany, people were hesitant about traveling for an hour, freaked out when I told them we drive around that long looking for parking in the French. Yeah, fucking parking. Getting moved away from automobiles and cars, like having a lot of this is city planning. If you want to have a positive effect on where you live, get involved in city planning and convince everybody to stop focusing on car accessibility. The train to a qualit? Oh my god! Yes! Yes! If we had trains that went that far, and we had trains that made those areas more accessible, let alone for trade, but the cost of living up there would come down, and you'd have more people willing to live up there, especially if you ran... Okay, so, alright. I used to work... I worked at a place that used to deal with underground infrastructure. Oh, and overhead infrastructure. Communication lines, mostly. And believe it or not, if you really, really want to fuck with a country, particularly the United States, a lot of their main communication lines are built underneath train tracks. So like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars of communication lines are right underneath the train tracks. So if you ever wanted to cause some problems, they're not electrified. There might be other electric stuff under there, but the communication lines usually expensive. So if we as Canada want to enable and increase our infrastructure, and we're putting in these rail lines, that are like going out to like Sudbury or going out up north even further into like Aqualit and moving out north to like, could you imagine one going all the way to Alert? Oh my god, that'd be crazy. But like that far up north, you're already doing the work to do the digging and stuff. So if you run communication lines, like big, thick fucking connection lines, communication line cables underneath the rail line, you would be able to build the infrastructure off of that to have some very, very, very serious chances of having people being willing to move to those areas. Because communication and cost of living are some of the reasons why, and like job market are the reason why people don't live in northern areas in Canada. I go up north every year, just a couple of hours, like a roughly 3-hour north trip, that I go to every year. And there were a couple of years there where the cities that I would pass by or pass through were like dying. Like there was nothing. There was like very few, like they were flourishing and then they started dying out. And I think a lot of that had to do with the 2008 financial crisis. I could be wrong though. I don't know for sure. This is just my observation. This is just me associating my observation with something that lines up roughly with the timeline, so I don't know if that's actually true. But that's what it seems. So if that's the case, the last handful of years, I have watched those cities explode with activity. Cities that were dying, cities that were like dead, like the ghost towns, or the only people who live there are the people who were born there, and they're all the younger people that are living there are moving away. I've recently seen them in the last 5 years just flourish, like new buildings, apartment buildings, new job markets, like Walmart getting put in, or like other like strip malls being put into these places, right? So like that, amazing, right? Fantastic. So if you were to put communication lines down along these paths where you're sending trains to, not only are you making the areas more accessible for people to be able to travel back and forth, but you're also creating better communication lines, which is going to make people more willing to move there because people can do a lot of their work online. And so they're more willing to move to those areas. And when people are more willing to move to those areas, then businesses are more likely to open things there like grocery stores and da-da-da-da-da. And that brings all of the cost of living down overall because now you have more accessibility, right? I would love to move to the Yukon, the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, and just do what I do. But I can't do what I do there, right? Starlink and solar makes it easier to live off-grid and maintain a comfortable living environment without a lot of existing infrastructure. It's better. I agree with you that it's better. It does enable people to some degree. I think Starlink is a little bit of a problem, but and I mean, it depends on where you mean off-grid, whether or not solar is going to be viable for you. Because solar, as you go north, solar gets a little bit less and less accessible because it's dark a lot of time. Especially if you're talking like a qualit, you're talking like you've got sections of weeks of no sun. Clean water and medical clinics on the reservations? Yes. God, yes. Is that a tattoo I see? Yes, I have a tattoo. See, you can see if you can figure out what it is. I believe in you. Calgary, is Calgary nice or is it the Detroit of Alberta? I've never been to Calgary. I've heard good things about Calgary. I've heard good things about Calgary and Edmonton. I've heard that the cities are actually quite nice. It's the surrounding areas that struggle due to political policy related to provincial governance. Is it a goblin? No, it is not. New Orleans made Katrina all about them because of the failed levee, but it was barely affected by the storm itself except for the higher water rains from all the rain. Oh, really? I don't know much about that. It's where PP is from. Edmonton looks like a rich town. Where is Carney from? Now I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Because he's from that area too. Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories. That's crazy. You got a prime minister who was born in the Northwest Territories. It's cracked. How old is Donald Trump? $1946. So he's 80. Oh my god. Mark Carney's 61. That's nuts. Mark Carney raised by polar bear mom. I know, right? What the fuck? Let me pull up Google Maps so I can show you guys where Fort, what was it? Which one was it? Fort Smith? I'm gonna show you guys where this is. Cause like I feel like you probably don't know. And I feel like you should. So, oh wait, sorry, wrong button. So this is where this is Fort Smith. All right, you see how small this is? It's so small that it's got a thing for "Welcome to Fort Smith" sign. All right, what? I'm gonna zoom out. Okay. So this whole area is considered Fort Smith. There's the Indian Reserve. There's Fitzgerald. There's Alberta. That's where Fort Smith is. There's the Yukon. There's Alaska. It's right here. Oh my god, I don't even know if you could get more in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Like, there's Yellowknife. How long would it take to walk there from, like, Toronto? Because there's Toronto. Like, so just to give you an idea, like, this is the size of Toronto. And even Toronto is relatively small if you compare it to, like, New York City. Where's New York City? There's Massachusetts. Where the fuck? There's Buffalo. Utica. The fuck is New York? Am I blind? Am I stupid? What am I doing here? Am I crazy? On the coast. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank you. Look, New York is huge. There's Brooklyn. Look at the Bronx. Like, it's huge. New York is massive. New York is fucking massive. And then this is where our fucking prime minister is from. Right there. Little tiny little... I figured y'all for, like, English, the tag. What? Welcome. Hi. I'm glad you found us. I'm showing everybody the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Canada. So that's where our prime minister is from. Oh my god, amazing. But yeah, if we got a train going from, like, Vancouver, it hits Calgary, Edmonton, hits Winnipeg. Why isn't the capital of Saskatchewan showing up? That's funny. Moose Jaw. It'd be cool if it hit Moose Jaw. It'd need to hit Yorkton, I think. There's Saskatoon, by the way. It's right there. But, like, if it hits, like, say it hits Saskatoon, right? It hits Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, which is roughly here, Winnipeg, then hits Sudbury down to Toronto, and then also Ottawa. So it would hit Toronto, Ottawa, then it would hit Montreal. It would need to hit Quebec City, which is right there. It would hit Quebec City. It would then have to loop around, go to New Brunswick, where it should hit Fredericton. It'd be nice if it hit St. John's and like if it could hit Fredericton and Moncton. If it could hit these three, because then it would make it easy to go to Nova Scotia, right? If it went all the way to Yarmouth, that'd be nice. I don't know if it would hit Prince Edward Island. It'd be cool if it went to Charlottetown. And then it would also need to go up and around to Newfoundland, Labrador. It would have to go to Halifax down here, but that's okay. And if it could get out here to, like, one of these places, like, even if it just got up here, really. Like, if it got, like, to Cartwright. Like, if it got to the coast. Like, that would be nice. Maybe Maine would like to be part of... Does Maine want to be part of Canada? I think Vermont wants to, but, like, making Maine and... If we can take Maine, give us, like, right across here. Cut through... We could take a chunk of Minnesota. We could take, like, all this part of Minnesota. That'd be fine. Probably make it part of, like, fucking Manitoba. Part of it can be part of Manitoba. Part of it can be part of Ontario. Give us North Dakota. Give us the northern half of Montana. Give us this whole chunk of Idaho. And give us Washington. We can take, like, the northern part of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Give us Vermont. Just give us all of Maine. You can take the northern chunk of New Hampshire. Finally watching A Good Place? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, no, you're 100% right. Sorry, Gamer said, finally watching Good Place, and, sorry, let me pull this up. I thought it was just in for the silly. It's a surreal comedy, but it's actually a giant allegory for how there's no ethical existence under capitalism. Yeah, it is. It do be like that. Google to fact check if need be, but like the Canadian Prime Minister, okay, came out here to Australia because the United States got an alliance with us here via the, yeah, like your Kuzma equivalent. AUKUS Pact. So he sought an alliance for getting Canada and Australia as Commonwealth, which is only an alliance. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, but our Prime Minister in Canada has been running around globally. Like, he's been globe-trotting, and he's been running around the globe trying to establish new and more trade deals with other countries, sans the United States. So, like, Canada and Australia already have deals amongst themselves, and as well with, like, more, but our Prime Minister is running around trying to get more. with everybody, and that includes Australia for sure. If that's what you mean. If that's not what you mean, let me know. Your speaker just did some really cursed shit. Just trying to enslave the northern border? Yes. Shitposting? What's happening? What's happening in shitposting? Oh my god. 1 day, 41 days and 11 hours, and you need to take a boat. Is that to walk? Or is that to drive? That's crazy. Mentioned that, but that fell through too. Example, we need y'all's oil, but y'all refine in the United States, so we gotta buy from them. Yeah, so the oil that comes from the sands in Alberta is a very specific type of oil, and you need a specific type of refinery to do it. So, our refining for our oil basically gets done in the United States. I don't think it's exclusively the United States, but it's mostly the United States. But so there's two things that would need to happen. Either Australia builds its own refineries and buys the oil direct, or Canada builds a refinery and then sells to Australia. That would that would be the infrastructure that would be necessary to circumvent the United States under those circumstances. US maps have ruined me. I always forget that Maine is in the eastern edge of the land border, not the ocean. Yeah. Tar than oil. Yeah, tar sand slop. Yeah, it's very like gritty, I guess is a heavy sour crude oil. Yeah, it's like it's from sand, gets rough, it's rough, of course, it gets everywhere. See, Commonwealth lacks any resource trade, so only an alliance, which the PM for Canada was asking for, confusing us the whole time. Oh, yeah. That's funny. That's great. That's goofy. But yeah, there's talk of a pipeline going on in Canada. It's in the we're talking about it stage. But it might be worth Australia's time to build the refinery themselves, but it also might be worth our time to build a refinery that is able to hit that market. But I'm not sure if that's something that's being discussed right now. I haven't seen it in the news, but that doesn't mean it's not being talked about. I'm also a little bit behind. I mean, I can look. Should we check? Canada refineries, refining sector in Canada. Let's take a look, see. Let's look, why not? We're here. Petroleum products marketed in Canada's highly competitive price rate, blah, 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 refinery economics, power supply and demand, trade crude oil market. Let's check this. Canada is a net exporter of petroleum products, yet at times product imports, blah, 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 connection via major waterways. Atlantic Canada and Quebec have good access for supplying northeastern United States and Europe. Atlantic Canada has 2 large export refineries that send large portions of their output market to the United States and the eastern seaboard. Ontario has access to a large supply for the United States markets. Western Canada is landlocked. Currently prairies. Yeah, that's to be expected. Okay, so here's our refinery map. If I go back to Google Earth and I zoom the fuck out, where the hell is Australia? You guys are over here, right? Yeah, there you are. So you'd want to buy out from... So we have a pipeline that will ship oil out from British Columbia. We almost broke Ox trading uranium to China in 2020. Hell yeah, that's funny. There's going to be a lot of changes about... we were talking about Australia and uranium earlier in the stream, so you might want to go back and check it out. But too long didn't read is that the United States doing what it's doing in Iran is basically forcing the rest of the world to move to more nuclear facilities. And Canada is definitely on board with facilitating the building and supplying of nuclear facilities. And I think Australia should get on board with that, considering Australia has a pretty large source of uranium. If we electrify quickly, then pipelines don't make much sense. Yeah, making a new pipeline is not, like, it may or may not be a good investment. I'm not sold that it's necessarily a good investment, but it might be a necessary step in helping the rest of the world flip over, because the pipeline isn't for Canada, right? It's not for Canada's oil. So Canada being electrified relatively quickly is not necessarily why we wouldn't be building the pipeline for us. It's for shipping out, right? So it depends on how fast the rest of the world moves and whether or not it's valid or useful for us for modernizing places of the world that are not as modernized, and if they're going to modernize through oil or if they're going to modernize through electricity. And they should modernize through electricity, in my opinion, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Americans hold a patent for the process to refine oil. You would have to pay royalties for the technology, which will be extortionate to keeping sending you the oil. Yeah, I mean, patents are a different type of issue, and with Kuzma on the table being what it's being, and with the United States breaking a whole ton of international laws recently, I don't know how much everybody's really gonna care about just inventing their own refineries. You know what I mean? And being like, oh no, we invented our own. Right? So, yeah, it's all relative. You're 100% correct. So you would probably, if Australia was buying oil from Canada, it would be coming through the BC pipeline. So there's a pipeline out here. There's an LG pipeline. And it would go for here. But if we look at back to the map of the refineries, look at right there, Vancouver. So that's where you would go. So Australia's right there. So you go from here to here. And like that's really far. So I'm not entirely sure that that's going to be a given of what's going to end up happening. You know what I mean? Not that I'm against it. It's just the geography that you're looking at for like the refinery and the pipeline is going to have to go from there to there, assuming that the Canadian refinery can even produce enough to satisfy the need of Australia. Yeah. It's a big chunk of open ocean that does not get used as much. It's because it's further, right? Like this is way big. This is a huge distance compared to like here to here, right? Or even here to here, right? This is huge. So, I mean, again, not that it won't happen, just like the geography is one of the reasons why like Canada and the United States will never stop trading with each other, regardless of what the United States does. If the United States devolves into a complete fascist hellhole, Canada's still going to trade with the United States because geographically we have to. I don't think you can lay a pipeline across the Pacific. Yeah, probably not. Especially not for oil. That would be, not only was that like not feasible geographically, but even if you did have enough money to do it and it was feasible, I don't think like monetarily it would be worthwhile. Do the first round of refining at Edmonton go from tar to oil and then Vancouver and then to Australia? Yeah, I think that would be what would need to get done. I think that's exactly what would happen. You'd have like Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton's got all this shit, right? So it would get refined here, and then it would go from Edmonton to Vancouver, and then it would go from Vancouver to Australia. If we did a pipeline. And then it would pipeline out from BC. So, like, one of the main pipelines that they're talking about doing is there's two in Canada. So they're talking about doing one. Both of them are from Alberta. One would be going through Manitoba out to, and maybe the territory. Let me double check. Hold on. So it'd be going from about here, and it would have to go through Saskatchewan, through Manitoba, or through the Northwest Territories, through Nunavut, out to here. So going out to Hudson Bay, and then shipping out from, like, basically this part of Manitoba, where they would run through. And a pipeline from here to here, not that bad. Like, that's not, like, it's far, but, like, it's doable. Like, it's very much, like, it's open, it's plains, it's not gonna cause a whole ton of problems. It won't be necessarily that difficult to build. You know what I mean? So, like, here to here, not so bad. Definitely feasible. You have to get the agreement of Saskatchewan and Manitoba to be able to do it, but, like, you know, that's not too bad. But Alberta to BC, although that is not nearly as far, like, the distance isn't as far, you have to go through the Rockies. You have to go through the mountains. And that is massive, massive construction. Like, that is an incredible, like, look how big the Rocky Mountains aren't exactly small. You know what I mean? They're pretty thick, as it would be. So, I'm really not sure if and you'd have to get the agreement of British Columbia as well, and then you'd have to deal with the expense of, like, basically trying to drill holes through the mountains to run this fucking pipeline. And that's the reason why the pipeline is unlikely to happen between Alberta and British Columbia is because of the geography. That's the main reason, right? Canada has chiefs, not rudely, genuine unawareness of Indigenous folk. I'm not an Indigenous person, as you might be able to tell. I will give you a rough TLDR, but if you want, you should go and, if you really want to understand better, you should go and find them. But to briefly answer your question, there are chiefs in Canada. In Canada, they are considered First Nations people. And the reason they are considered First Nations is because they are a nation amongst themselves that live in Canada alongside Canada. Now, that is a slow process that we're moving more into, but they are treated as their own nation that exists inside of Canada and alongside our government. So they have their own governance. Anytime Canada is the Canadian government decides it wants to do something, that is in their territory, in their treaties, then we need to get their approval and their consideration about what we're doing, right? So there's this big talk about, you might have heard about it, it's called the Ring of Fire, which is in Northern Ontario. And there's a lot of projects that people want to do, a lot of mining and resource farming that people want to do in the Ring of Fire, and it has not been successful because it is in First Nations land. It is their land, they own it, they get to decide what happens with that land. So that's what I mean by we exist simultaneously. And the Canadian government and the Canadian people have been working towards elevating this to a more fair and balanced integration between the two forms of governance. So that's the other reason why a pipeline from Alberta to British Columbia or from Alberta all the way out to Hudson's Bay is difficult, because not only do you need to get the agreement of Saskatchewan and Alberta and British Columbia and Manitoba, but you also have to get the First Nations of those areas to agree as well. And this is the reason why Alberta separatist is absolute nonsense. Alberta separatism does not take First Nations into consideration whatsoever. It doesn't care, and Alberta literally can't leave because it doesn't own half of what it wants to take with it when it does. Alberta, like, large swaths of Alberta are not owned by the Alberta government. They're owned by First Nations peoples. And so Alberta has to negotiate with the First Nations people to be able to leave. Canada and Australia should have our own tea party. We should just build a big old fucking platform. And there's Hawaii, by the way. Hawaii is in, like, such a wacky spot, I'm not gonna lie. Hawaii. Maybe we can build like a stop-off big-ass port in Hawaii. We shouldn't do that. Hawaii's great. Hawaii should also become part of Canada, because we would actually fucking do better in the way we treat the Polynesian culture, but that's okay. In my humble opinion, I've said this before and I'll say it again, in my humble opinion, Canada should take over control of the Great Lakes. So, whatever any industry wants to do anything related to the Great Lakes, that industry and that state should have to negotiate with Canada and let Canada fucking manage it. Because if Canada were managing it, Canada would create, it wouldn't be the Canadian government doing it. It would be it would be an individual group that like a separated from the government that would run it. Or just cede all of this territory. Just cede all of this territory to Canada and let us just run all this shit. Oh, crown issues? Yeah. Ah, yes, the crown. Oh, yes, the crown. Papua New Guinea. What to do? Indonesia. Man. China's huge. China big. This Japan is really big too, isn't it? How far north is this, actually? Hold on. Is this Japan? Nah, this isn't part of Japan, right? This is part of Russia, right? Right? Is that Russia? Russia's way... I mean, Russia's huge, too. Mongolia's pretty big. Anyway. Great Lakes Administrative Region. Yes! Yes! Great Lakes Administrative Region. Yes. America should just cede control of the Great Lakes to Canada. Let us create a body that it works independently of the government. That's job to maintain the Great Lakes, both ecologically and territorially. Let them deal with it. You can we can be nice and we can let like an American can be part of the council or whatever. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, yeah, you can have it. You can have one seat. Here in New Zealand, we currently got a big anti-migration push against Indian folks, like from India, I mean, world's largest population and little island nations, not to be rude as it says. No, that's like, there's a lot of, you're new, so let me come back here. Yeah, hold on. You know what? I'm going to take a break real quick. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go to drink and we'll walk ADD through some of what we've talked about here in the past so that get you like nice and caught up. Because, I like having new people. So we'll be back in just a minute. I just gotta go get a fresh drink. Okay, hi. I'm here. I've mostly returned. Where'd my... Oh, they're there. Sorry, I misplaced my headphones. Okay. What did I miss? That's over the city. Yeah. Infrastructures. Yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure issues. Let's pull this down. Okay. I am here. Hello. 3 hours ago, Trump been the 20% extortion fee. Yeah, of course he did. Okay. Yes, and I will take my stretch. Thank you. Okay. So let's do a little bit of catch up here. And before we do the catch up, 80D, great name, by the way. Would you say, and this is just in your opinion, so you don't have to, I'm not asking for like citations and data. I'm just asking for your opinion. As somebody from the Australia, New Zealand area, do you find that there is racism towards people from India in your country? That is like, not just, like, it's not like small amounts, it's like, it's around. So like, I'm from Canada, right? And I think that there is definitively racism against Indian people in Canada. So it's not just like 1 or 2 people. Take your time. I'm not asking this because I'm going to say you're racist or anything. I'm just curious about your opinion before I go into my spiel. Yeah, Channel Bish is, figured out the direction I'm going to go in. There's racism against Indian people in the UK, yep. Yep. I would agree with that. That sounds right to me. I think it's in Canada. It can be. We have a political party kind of pulling weight at the moment called One Nation, and they have been a joke up until the trip to Mar-a-Lago has them full fire and brimstone on non-quote monocultural-minded immigrant. Yeah, okay, so yeah. Do you find that there's racism like amongst like workplaces, like in society? So I think that there is in Canada. I've seen it. Because one thing is policy, the other thing is like society, right? I think that there is in society. So this is not exclusive to Australia or New Zealand. This is an authoritarian populist movement that is in Germany, Canada, Australia. The United States is basically leading the way on this. The UK is suffering from it really badly. This is an authoritarian populist movement. And clicks? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. I know what you mean. So, one of the playbooks of a populism and authoritarian movement, and we've seen it play out a couple of times in a few different countries at this point, and it's still an ongoing. I feel like my music is a little bit loud. Hold on, let me turn this down a little bit. It's distracting me a bit. One of the playbooks is to correctly identify a problem and then blame it on something else. Oh, it's not too loud. It was fine. Okay, I'll leave it alone then. So for example, immigrants. Oh, the housing market is in shambles and nobody can afford a home. Well, let's blame immigration policy. It's not the immigrants. They took our jobs. Classic racist authoritarian nonsense. You're correctly identifying a problem where there is not enough jobs to satisfy the populace, right? So, is the problem immigrants? No, the problem isn't fucking immigrants. No, the problem isn't gay people. No, the problem isn't trans people. Right? Those are not the issue. They're not causing the problem. It's not them. Right? The housing market, for example, is a global issue. It is not just the United States dealing with a housing crisis. It's not just Canada dealing with a housing crisis. It's not just the UK. It's not just Australia dealing with affordability issues. There's a lot of affordability issues going on around the planet. Do you want to know why there's a lot of affordability issues going on around the planet? Because there are people that are hoarding all the wealth. When capitalism is functioning as it's supposed to function in a healthy society, then the money needs to be circulating. But the money is not circulating. The money is being jammed up and being held and hoarded. And so when the money is not moving, it's not doing anything and it can't go anywhere and it can't be utilized. So this is not a healthy form of capitalism, right? I'm not opposed to capitalism, but if the capitalism isn't working, it ought not be used the way it's being utilized, right? And it's not working. So it needs to be fixed. But instead of actually addressing the issue and fixing the problem, what authoritarian populism will do is it'll say, here's a problem, they'll exacerbate the problem, then they will exaggerate the problem, and then they will try to sell you on the idea of giving your power to them to fix the problem. And they won't fix the problem, because then what they'll do is instead of fixing the problem, they'll either make the problem worse and then blame somebody else to convince you to then give them more power. Or they'll just leave the problem alone and hold the problem hostage. And say, well, if you want this to be fixed, you need to keep us in power. Because if you don't keep us in power, then that other people are going to take it over and they're going to make it worse. Right? Top tax bracket in the United States in the 50s was 90%. Yes. If you want to go... And then they'll sell you this, like, nostalgic idea of the way things used to be before all these immigrants were here. Before gay people, before we had autism. Yada, 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 yada. Right? Simple solutions to complex problems are usually wrong. Yeah. Remittance towards India. Is student money taken basically from here to there on promise we can do the same? Greater than, well, money conversion has it only working one way, ours being worth more, convert to less, and so has no students from here going over to India. The cultural exchange being one direction is not... So, like, you're talking about, like, there are Indian students coming to Australia, but not very many Australian students going to India, right? Why do you think that is? Why does that direction seem to flow one way? So, for example... Yeah, nobody's calling you rude. These are complicated issues. And, like, what? Yeah, we know that the exchange rate of the rupee to the Australian dollar, right? Yeah. Those are just facts. So, do you think that your country does things to make itself appealing to other countries and other people? I know Canada goes out of its way to make itself sound more appealing to attract people from other countries to come visit and explore and enjoy. Canada has some of the best universities in the world. Do we not want to have the best universities in the world? How could you possibly have some of the best universities in the world without having foreign students? You don't. You can't. If you want, keep in mind this is a global market. You live in a global society. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it to be, and I don't mean ADD is saying they don't, I'm just saying in general, whether or not you want to be part of a globalist society, too late. You're on the internet. You're already part of a global conversation, right? Victoria from Germany says, here's a thing about that a lot of people ignore. If we, Germany, teach... I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm assuming you're saying teach people from, in this case, India. They can go and fix itself and not need as much in the future. So we get the pick of the best of those students who stay here and then start paying taxes here. Right. So, like, there's... If a student moves from India... If a student moves from India to go to school in Australia, and then they're buying things in Australia, are they not paying Australian sales taxes? They are, right? Are they bringing money with them from India, and when they come to pay for your university in the first place, they have to pay for housing while they're there? They might get a subsidy. They might get a scholarship. But that's something that is being... A scholarship is something that's decided by its own body, right? Right. Well, they have to live in your country while they're going to university there, don't they? So they have to buy food. They have to have housing. They have to live. A lot of times to do that, they have to get a job. So do they not... If they have a job, are they not paying income taxes? Me and Feline are on the same page again. We're on the same page of the book. We're reading the same line. Book, page number, paragraph, line. Well, you're jumping to a different spot. Let's stick to where we can talk about that, but let's stick to where we're at. So do you agree that people who are traveling from India to go to school in Australia are paying money to Australia? Right? So we agree that that's the case. Yeah, Manya is a really good example. We can bring Manya on to chat about it sometime. She went to school in New Zealand. She, from India, went to school in New Zealand, got her New Zealand citizenship, and is now working, what did she say, a 6-figure job in Australia? Paying income tax. Nobody's talking about backpacking, dude. We're talking about somebody traveling to Australia to get an education. You have to be there for at least 4 years. You really think people that are going to get an education in a country are backpacking? 'Cause no. Did Manya ever mention why she left India? For education. She chose to go to to New Zealand for university. ADD. You're getting out of spec of what we're talking about. Circle back. Why Manya left New Zealand for a job, if I understand correctly. I'm pretty sure she's mentioned that before. What about if people backpack in the UK? Yeah, people go backpacking in Europe all the time. So now you just don't like backpackers? That has nothing to do with whether or not they're from India or from anywhere. You just don't like backpackers. Why? Those are tourists that are coming and moving, like that are coming to your country to spend their money. That is basically just free money. Like, backpackers bring their own money. The fucking... They're not taking Australia... Like, backpackers aren't taking money from Australia to backpack across Australia. They might pick up odd jobs or whatever, but they're bringing money with them when they go to travel. So what are you talking about? I'm not really sure what AD is getting at. You just don't like anybody who's foreign visiting your country or going to your schools? I mean, maybe, if that's the case. Like, in Canada, our universities have a huge Chinese population of people that are traveling from China to Canada to go to school. Like, the percentage is very high. Toronto is, if I'm not mistaken, Toronto, Canada, is the globally the largest multicultural city on the planet. 80 says, dude, have I offended you somehow? LOL. I seem to be particular here at the moment. I don't know what you mean, but no, I'm not offended. I just don't know what you're saying. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to tell me. You're being a little dodgy about answering. I don't know why. But I'm not offended. You don't need to be so sensitive. Red Cedar says, I'm an introvert, so I understand not wanting people around, but... Yeah, right? My cousin spent about 10K when she went backpacking. Yeah, people spend like, life savings to go backpacking. Like, my sister went backpacking. When she went backpacking, she was picking between basically having the down payment for a house or going backpacking, and she chose to go backpacking. What? Okay, ADD said, okay, I'm saying we don't need to feed the neighbor kids while I know our kids are starving. How is this applicable to people coming to your country to spend money to get an education? Can you please draw me a through line between point A and point B? Because it seems like you're taking an emotionally charged feeling about one thing and then trying to apply it to an economically specific thing that it does not apply to. So can you... I don't know what your through line is between these two things. If you're saying you want more money in your country, where are you going to get it from if not outside of your country? Where does money come from, do you think? If you're saying that Australia needs to do more about indigenous culture, then fine, but I don't know why do you think shitting on foreign students is going to help you with that? I don't know what your through line is. Printing. Yeah, just print the money. yeah, just print it. Just print more. Yeah. I am waiting. I've had Trump prints money on my bingo card on, like, my bingo, and I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it to happen. Like, the dollar is crashing, the United States economy is crashing, and I am waiting for this man to press the print money button. Feline, I'm pretty sure ADD is being sarcastic. Funny joke, but doesn't answer my question. My body is sore. Me and Feline living on the same page. Free real estate. Free real estate. This is really good iced lemon water, by the way. Time for me to stop streaming and go take a nap. No, I'm not gonna go take a nap. I have a stream later today with Dapper Dinosaur. Over on Dapper Dinosaur. That'll be fun. Jeez. Trump's plan was to grant himself the ability to pay anyone compensation for being investigated for anything, no records, no accounting, no limits, and which would have resulted in printing more money. Yes. Yeah, that was a thing. Hypothetically, if someone were to 3D print Chesh, would Chesh's value change or would it stay the same? I don't know. I don't know what that would mean, quite frankly. But so here's the thing. If you have a housing crisis, blaming Indians, specifically immigrants that are moving to your country for education, is the authoritarian populism playbook. There is a problem with housing, right? And there are issues of affordability in Australia, right? That's an issue. This is a very real issue. Blaming immigration, especially blaming immigration of a very specific group of people, is just playing on and taking advantage of racism to not solve the issue, because those things are not going to change. Like, that's not gonna... If you were to eliminate Indian immigrants, if you were to eliminate all... if you were to say, listen, no Indian person is able to travel to Australia for an education, how do you think that would affect your economy? Hedge fund managers for housing prices. Oxgall's got it figured out. What happens if you eliminate a specific group of people from being able to travel to your country for education? What do you think happens? Why are you worried about being a minority? Why does that matter? It's certainly not going to happen in your lifetime. But why does it matter? Why'd it be relevant? Who cares? This is it's just emotional. You're just scared. But why? Why are you scared? Do you actually think the population of students in Australia are affecting your Australia's treatment of Indigenous people in Australia? Oh, so you're already a minority. So why are you scared of why are you scared of Indians? Why are you afraid of... I don't understand. I'm not following your through line, and you're not really answering my question, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with what you're even trying to say. Can you please draw me a through line for what having Indian people coming to go to school in your country has to do with your kids starving? Draw me this through line. I don't understand. You haven't drawn this through line for me. Please explain. Tell Elmo. Talk to me like I'm 5. Because I don't know what your through line is. You've got 2 separate points and I don't know how they're connected. Is it a problem that the Roman culture existed 2,000 years ago is gone in Italy? I mean, I don't... Doesn't the more taxpayers and the more money get spent, the more money, the more into the economy? Yeah. What are you talking? Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying anything about monocultural. Nobody's talking about monocultural at all. Nobody's suggesting that. In fact, you suggesting that other cultures shouldn't come to your country because you view those other cultures as a threat to your own is monoculturalism. ADD, please. Please, focus for a second. I understand that your name is on brand. Please focus for a second. Can you draw me the through line of what attacking and being, like, wanting to not have people from Indian heritage and Indian culture going to school in your country has to do with anybody fucking... Alright, I'm gonna analyze this for a hot second because ADD is getting upset and is having a very emotional response to people questioning what their position is in the first place. Alright? How do I approach this? You're upset the globe don't want to be globalist. No! That's not what anybody is saying! We're asking you and trying to understand your position, and you're getting angry, and you're not able to answer any of our questions. When is the next rum and coke night? I don't know yet. I'm not sure. It might be... I might have an extra one on the 24th. Wait, that's Friday. The 20... No, probably not. Might be able to do it on the 18th. No, I'm asking you questions. I can't understand what your through line is. You're saying you don't like Indian immigrants in Australia in the education system. And then you told me that the reason is because we don't want to feed other people when our own children when our children are starving. I don't know what your through line is. I don't know how you're relating point A and point B. That's what I'm telling you. I do not understand what your through line is here. I want money from them to us equal to the hour to them? That's not a sentence! I want money from them to us equal to the hours to them? What? Are you expecting me to be able to follow the through line on what you want? No, it's not! Dude, calm down, it's a sentence. That is definitively not a sentence! Try again! ADD be like, how dare you not simply accept my transparent appeal to emotion fallacy as gospel? Didn't you know I'm right-wing? That is, yeah, that is. I'll reword it. As long as it's worded in a sentence. Yeah, feel free to join sometime, absolutely. I want money they take from here to return equally. Okay. Okay. What? Is that for everybody or just India? Well, hold on, Hawkskull. We're gonna get there. Just Indian students or anybody immigrating. Let's get one step at a time, one step at a time. Any foreign student? Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up soon. It's Feline, stop jumping ahead. One step at a time. One step at a time, guys. Everybody? Or is it only foreign application? Is it anybody like traveling to Australia, not explicitly Indians? Right? So how does that apply for an Australian individual going to Canada? Money only. Okay, money only, that's fine. I just need to know what we're talking about. How do you think that applies to an Australian citizen going to Canada? Should that be the same? In your opinion? I don't care, wouldn't be the world's largest population, so no, not the same. So it only applies if the population of the country reaches a certain number. So let's take a look at the let's take a look at the population size. Population by country, right? Let's take a look. We're going to Worldometer, everybody. Let's take a look-see. All right? Okay. World population, India at the top, right? Then China, then the United States, then Indonesia, then Pakistan, then Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Russia, Ethiopia as the top 10. Right? Let me just make sure this is sized correctly. Yeah, okay. That's the top 10. Yeah, the United States is number 3. Oh yeah, nobody's arguing that India has a huge population. No, nobody's disagreeing with that. Okay, so let's go find Australia. There's Canada's at 38. Did I go past it? Australia's at 55. All right, so let's say, for example, since we know that Australia and North Korea are side by side, right? How would you apply, because these are equal, right? Like roughly equal in population density, or not density, sorry, total population. So, would you have a $1 expectation between Australia and North Korea? You know, assuming North Korea wasn't North Korea. Like, disregarding political issues. And while you answer that question, I'm going to move over to Worldometer, and we're going to look at GDP by country. Hold on. So you only want to apply this to the world's largest so would you apply it to China? What's your line? I'm trying to figure out, like, where's your line? So do you have to be, like, if they're in the top 10, you would apply it to them? So you wouldn't apply it to Japan, but you would apply it to Ethiopia? No, Manya's not awake right now. It's 4 a.m. for her. No towards China. So you would literally only do it to India because India has the world's largest population. So if China overtakes, what just happened? Why did you do that? Why did you move like that? I don't like that. All right. If China overtakes India in population, do you switch it? Would you change it? Would you no longer apply this thing to India and start applying it to China? Yeah, I'm trying to, like, it seems like it's conditional. I'm just trying to figure out. It doesn't matter if they will or they won't. This is hypothetical. I just want to know what we're talking about. Okay, so you're just racist. Alright. So ADD is just racist towards India. Period. That's it. They don't care. They don't care. They're just racist towards India. So the rest of the conversation is irrelevant. So if you were to switch this over to GDP, as opposed to population, right? China, you have United States at the top of GDP, and then you would have China, Germany, Japan, UK, India is number 6, and then France, Italy, Russia, and Brazil for the top 10, Canada incoming at 11, and Australia coming in at 12. So if you want to talk about economics and money, which was your original reason for even caring about population in the first place, India is number 6 and Australia is number 12 if you want to talk about dollar amounts for how much a country has. No, Feline, we're not talking about that right now. We're not using it as a metric for how good the country is using it. We're using it for how much money a country is bringing in. And for that, it is actually a good metric. Don't start with me. So, if you want more money and you want to do a dollar amount, a dollar for dollar trade where Australia gets more money for the effort that it's putting in, why are you looking at population base? Why are you looking at population base as your reasoning for doing this? Why are you not looking at GDP? Or why are you not looking at the medium income of the person that lives there? Because Canada and Australia are like side by side. You could 1-to-1 that pretty easily. But India isn't even number 1 in GDP. It's all the way down at number 6. United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, China, and United States are at the top. So why would you not target where the money is, allegedly? Why are you targeting population size? Because it's not like you can bring more people than your country can handle into, than the number of spots that there are in the university. So then the percentage number-wise is irrelevant. So why are you targeting India based off population? That doesn't answer the question. The size of Australia's not small. What do you mean? It's certainly not as big as Canada, but Australia is not small. Labor's still in government, yeah. Nobody said it was, my guy. Do you not know the fucking layout of Canada's fucking population? My god, my brother in Christ. My brother in Christ. Why are you targeting population density as opposed to GDP if you're looking for money? Canada is the 6th largest country and the single largest island. Hold on, I have an answer for this. It's okay, ADD. I got you.
To my home uninvited and tell me how I should arrange my furniture? What a fool you are! Skeleton divine death!
My guy. Why? You're looking for more money. You want your country to have more money. You think you're giving out a bunch of your government's money to Indian students and immigrants, and you haven't demonstrated that whatsoever. You're coming over here telling me how I should run my channel and trying to tone police me, and your straight up reasoning is racism. You can't answer why you're targeting population base. You don't even understand the size of your country or relative population density. And you have no reason as to why, if you're looking for money, why you wouldn't look at GDP and median income of individuals, because you're talking about individuals that are coming to your country, not the population of an entire country coming to your country, because that's definitively not happening. These people have no fucking arithmetic skills whatsoever. It's just racism. They just don't like Indian people for some reason. I wonder why. I wonder why they're falling for the authoritarian populism playbook in Australia. I wonder why. Because it's playing on racism, and that's what the argument is, like I said earlier. Imagine that. Who could have foreseen this? Should I ask Mania to do a little bit of math so she can say, she could probably do the math to see how much money she has made for New Zealand and Australia already on her own as an individual who immigrated versus how much money, how much of the government's money of Australia she spent, because I bet you she knows that number. Because you want to know what you need to know when you do those things? That's part of your immigration process. Stop blaming immigrants for your fucking problems. If you were to get rid of all the Indian immigrants in Australia, it wouldn't solve your issue. Not even hypothetically. Your issue is that you're just racist. You can't argue with racists. No, it's, yeah, there's no logic behind racism. Well, that has nothing to do with their race, does it? Alright, that's enough out of me. I'm gonna get on out of here. I love it when people try to come to my channel to tell me what to do. It's very funny. The audacity. The audacity. The unmitigated goal. Oh, thank you so much. I'll take one more stretch. We're gonna get on out of here. As you can see, racists don't last in this chat. They can't handle it. They're way too emotionally unstable and unable to, like, deal with adult conversation that they start freaking out right away, then start projecting, and then just fall into a spiral. And this is like a very common spiral. So make sure you take a look. This will come out as a video of Circle Jerk over on Debate Hub. I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna go get some scheduling done. We're gonna get some stuff done for Debate Hub and get that set up soon, and then I'll be live over on Dapper Dinosaur's channel later tonight. I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Make sure to drink some water, everybody, and, you know, go do 5 squats or something. I will see you later. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.